Welcome to the podcast where we review movies.
Oh my god,
Except
we do
really.
things. We
Really.
actually.
This is the Spiderman No Way Home crapshoot review,
But what about our G Savior review?
and there are spoilers. We can't talk about anything else. This is just for Spider-Man.
No!
I'm JD. This is my co-host,
James.
James. I call him James. Everyone else calls him Jimmy. So,
You're supposed to say it works like that.
we just watched Spider-Man No Way Home. Oh, I mean, just watch. I mean, I watched it like 2 days ago, but I wanted to talk about it with James here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just do a quick run through of the plot,
Right.
and then we can get into some stuff that we liked, some stuff that we don't like. Go ahead, James.
So basically,
Mhm.
Matthew Murdock. You see,
Immediately go to Daredevil.
Season 1 of Daredevil.
So it's
Matthew Murdock and Foggy Nelson.
best scene I've ever seen. The best scene I've ever seen in the Marvel universe. Like Peter Parker, Aunt May, and Happy are sitting at this dinner
Happy
table.
Hogan.
Right, Happy Hogan. They're sitting at this dinner table. In comes this cane with a hand on it, and he says, "I shit you not."
Who is this blind man?
I shit you not. He says, "Peter, I think your legal troubles are over." And wouldn't you believe it? It's my boy Matt Murdock with the glasses, with the shades, with the drip.
You saying it like that is so goddamn funny.
No, it's just anyway. So okay, I'll explain. So we basically start right at the end of the other Spider-Man movie, the second Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Far From Home.
Spider-Man
Far From Home.
Not to be confused with No Way
So
Home. So
it starts with everyone knows, or everyone's learning that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. He gets exposed by Mysterio, and then he has to grab MJ and escape the main area where they're at, which is like right in the middle of New York.
Yeah.
So they just swing away, and then they go back to their house, and then they get arrested. Pretty much.
Yeah,
That's
Spider-Man's
just what
like,
happens.
Aunt May, I'm not having sex with a Mary Jane.
I say no sex, I swear. And it also turns out that Happy broke up with Aunt May, which I don't remember them being together, but that's probably just my memory failing me.
5 seconds of the
That happened in the last movie.
In the last movie where they're like, we're in a relationship, and then immediately it was like, it's a fling. It's like, that was like a couple minutes ago.
I think it was like Happy thought they were gonna be in a relationship, but then Aunt May was like, nah, and she shut that shit down. So
why'd they both sit down with Peter to have the talk then?
I don't know. I don't know.
Moving on.
They get arrested, and it's funny because they get arrested by the Center of Damage Control, I think, which is the
Department of Damage Control.
Which is the fictional department
run by Tony Stark. It was made by Tony Stark.
It was made by Tony Stark, but it is government owned, I think, like mostly government, because they seize Tony Stark stuff. Because they were basically tasked with, I guess, investigating the Mysterio case.
Yeah.
And there's no actual evidence. I mean, I guess once they dug deeper, they found out that Spider-Man didn't actually kill Mysterio.
They're like, I guess
that's the official release.
You didn't pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm. Legally, we understand that you're a minor, which gets you off on a lot of stuff, but
you're a minor, which
technically
means every Avenger is in trouble for
technically you didn't kill him. The one it's funny because the one who's actually in legal trouble is Stark Industries, because apparently they have missing tech.
Happy Hogan for some reason.
It was the missing tech, aka drones. That I guess they just didn't tell the government that they had drones, a bunch of war drones up in space.
Why didn't they know that all those drones that Mysterio took were missing either?
I don't know. It was owned by Tony Stark first. I guess it was just a project that he was doing that nobody knew about, except for him.
Moving on.
So anyway, that's all their legal trouble.
Sorry, we're getting caught up in all the problems of the
We'll talk about the problems after I guess we can talk about the problems as we're going along through the plot. So Yeah, they get through all their legal troubles, and it happens really fast. And it might seem like we're glossing over it, but it happens in like the first 10 minutes.
That's because they glossed over it.
Yeah,
like,
it happens in the first 10 minutes.
Away.
It's basically like a hand wave, but you know, I get it, so I don't have to. Fine. Don't linger on the legal stuff. I don't care about that anyway.
I wish it lasted longer, not because we would have got.
Maybe there's a bit more explanation could have been a bit helpful, but.
I wish it would have lasted a bit longer, not because we would have just gotten more Murdock, but yes. Because that is a reason.
Oh, you just want more Matt Murdock. Just want more Daredevil. You want to see him in a suit.
But because I really no, not even that. Him wearing a normal suit.
I wanted to see him blind. I wanted to see him not see stuff.
I wanted to see actor Charlie Cox get acid thrown.
I wanted to see him catch 2 bricks. So.
So, by the way, at the beginning of the movie, when that lady just goes to grab at Peter Parker while he's in his costume,
just attack him. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of I can imagine it happens in real life. Like it actually actually happens.
The guy diving over the car was a bit much.
That was funny though. Yeah,
it was very funny. Just see him just.
It was like freaking like zombie AI just.
My brother leaned over to me. He's like, "Are we watching a zombie movie?
Are we watching World War Z? Spider-Man World at War."
Tom Holland is Brad Pitt, confirmed.
Spider-Man is Brad Pitt. So yeah, they get through the legal troubles really fast. Do you want to say anything else about the legal troubles other than?
No, I'll save all like my cons and pros for later on.
Okay, and we get in, and we find out that he dodges all his legal troubles because Matt Murdock shows up. That was. Yeah, we kind of already knew that he was going to show up because of some leaks.
Yeah, everybody knew, but not for the right reasons.
Yeah. So
everyone's like, he's the guy who slammed the papers down.
We know that he's in there, but we just didn't know how he was going to show up. So he basically shows up in their house, basically their apartment. And he just sits down. And he's like,
he's broken in.
He's like, you know what? Good news. You've dodged all your shit, so you're good. And he's addressing that to people.
You haven't dodged all your shit.
And then Happy's like, oh, thank God. But he's like, oh, actually though, you Stark Enterprises, that's Stark Industries, that's you haven't dodged your legal troubles. You're gonna want to get a better lawyer.
She-Hulk.
You're gonna want to get a really good lawyer. And then a brick flies. It goes through one of their windows, and he catches it.
Did you see the face he makes when he catches the brick?
Didn't he just didn't have a face or?
No, he had a face, and it's very funny because it's like, firstly, him having a reaction is a very human thing since he's not a man with superpowers. He just has very good reflexes and like a sensory.
Very good reflexes, very good senses. So
he just catches the brick. The face he makes, he's like, he's like very gritty his teeth, like burying his teeth.
It must hurt because he's not like superhuman, right? So he just caught a brick with his bare hands. That was flying through a window.
Very realistic. So he's like, a movie about Spider-Man. This is a very realistic and human reaction to catching
I think it was a very cool
through a window.
It was a very cool entrance, and this was the first time that the audience kind of riled up a bit. Mostly Daredevil fans. Daredevil fans be like, "Whoa, yeah, baby! This is what I've been waiting for."
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. So like some people, he shows up, and some people were like, "Oh my God," and started cheering.
My group got very like loud the moment they saw him shirtless with Zendaya.
Oh, what?
Yeah, they were like,
"Oh, they were like, oh my God!" Your entire theater is just down bad.
Oh my God! Children having sex.
Whoa, you sound like a real Ryan Greatwood here.
I'm not the one who cheered.
I booed at that scene.
But also, when they show up to school, there is a man saying that, who is saying that to them.
I guess so, yeah.
MJ, when are you having your spider babies? It's like,
that's
pretty. They haven't even graduated
yet. It's too realistic because there's 100% sure some creep out there is probably going to say that. But let's go back to the thing. So he catches the brick. It's cool. Because it basically there's some people in the audience who don't know who Daredevil is, right? Some people are just watching because Spider-Man's cool. So I guess it just shows them that this guy is kind of important by catching the brick. So yeah.
he's a blind lawyer, and you can be like, oh yeah, he's
I mean, from the sense that we got, we didn't see that he was blind, but when he caught the break, then it's like, oh my god, he caught that without looking.
Yeah, he's just some asshole who carries around a cane with red glasses.
Yeah, some asshole with a cane.
He's just some dick.
Some dick with a walking stick. There you go. That's the Daredevil. That's the Daredevil jingo. Some dick with a walking stick.
That's the slogan for Matthew Murdock's lawyer firm.
Yeah. So yeah, this happens all really fast. Like the first 10 minutes, we see Matt Murdock already. He's only on screen for like 2 minutes when he's just explaining.
Oh yeah,
actually even less than that.
I think it is less than that, really.
Yeah. So he's super fast, and that's the only time he ever shows up in the movie. That's it. And then some stuff with MJ and Tom Holland, which actually is not bad in this movie.
No, it's very nice. I like it. It's a lot better than
their relationship here in this movie is a lot better, I think. Better handled than the other movies.
It's very more thought out.
Yes. So yeah, some stuff happens narratively with them.
It was the finale. Like they gotta actually have it happen and have it be better.
Yeah. They just talk with each other a bunch about the stuff that's happening. And then one big plot point is that now that their legal troubles are done, they have to get back to their normal lives, and they're applying for college, right? Because they're still high schoolers. A fact that I forget sometimes, that they're high schoolers. Kids. And I guess they're all trying to apply for MIT.
Yeah. Yes. For some reason.
Well, because they're all geniuses, James. Unlike you and me, who are stupid and poor.
Oh, hold on. Don't put yourself in the same boat as me. You're way better.
Okay.
I'm dumb.
You're
as
amazing.
Shit.
You're amazing.
About?
What's with all the self-talk? What's this self-downer talk? You're amazing.
We're not there yet.
So, yeah, they're all applying for MIT, and then they don't get in. They don't get in because
Thompson somehow does.
Well, it's because he's not affiliated with Spider-Man, really.
Despite writing a book and being like, I'm Peter Parker's best friend. Look at my blonde hair.
Yeah, Flash Thompson's there in the movie.
That can be
That's
said.
it. That's really it. He doesn't really do anything.
He shows up for 2 scenes.
Yeah, so it's mostly because of Peter. The controversy between Peter and Spider-Man gets them not MIT admission tickets. So he's like, fuck, what do I do? And then he looks up at the ceiling. Or they're all like grouped together at MJ's workplace, the donut shop.
Yeah.
And then they unveil their letter of non-admissions. And they're like, well, we didn't get in.
Did you notice that when they were getting he was getting his college applications, that the robot, when it was at the table with him, it was slowly rebuilding the Death Star each time it cut to him.
Oh, the montage of when he was getting all the letters? Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah,
it
was
pretty
slowly
funny.
building the Death Star, and then at the end it just fucking smacks and breaks it.
Yeah, that's a funny reoccurring bit, the Legos in the movies.
I like it. It's a very good joke that I like.
Yeah,
especially
so
that's the Death Star.
They all don't get into MIT, and then Peter's like, "Damn, what do I do?" And he looks up, and there's like there's a Halloween decoration of a wizard.
I got very confused because when I saw that and he saw it, I'm like, oh, because Tony Stark funded everybody at MIT in Civil War.
Stark.
No, but here's the thing: in Civil War, he gave all the people at MIT funding. He's a big fan of MIT.
Well, I mean, it's because Tony Stark is at MIT. Like, he's an MIT. What was it? Alumni, yeah. Alumni.
And when I saw the Halloween decoration, I'm like, oh, it looks like Happy's face. He's gonna call Happy, and Happy's gonna call
that's kind of messed up, dude. You say Jon Favreau looks like a freaking wizard decoration for Halloween.
It was a vampire that had the same haircut and beard as Jon Favreau.
No, it was a wizard. You could tell because of the magic hat. The magic hat and the robe.
It didn't have a hat. But here's the thing: when I saw it, I'm like, "Oh, it's Happy Hogan. He's gonna call Happy, and Happy's gonna call Pepper, and they're gonna work out." Why is he going to Doctor Strange?
When he looks up at the little ornament thing, it's just actually Jon Favreau's face just there.
It looks like I swear to God, either we watch the movie or find the decoration.
It did not look like Jon Favreau. It did not look like Happy.
Like Jon Favreau's head.
It did not.
It does.
But anyway, that was a point that was weird because. I guess, well, it's because Tony Stark's dead, I guess, and Gwen, I guess, Shart, not Gwen.
Shart.
What was the in-game name? With the freaking Pepper, that's right. Pepper Potts.
What's the in-game name?
Pepper Potts. That's right. She probably doesn't give a shit, so whatever.
Well, I think that she would, because this is like Tony's surrogate son, but I guess technically he already has a kid, so it's weird. But
which also indirectly got him killed, but it's whatever. With great power comes great responsibility. Anyway,
great power comes giving a mortal man the Infinity Stones.
Well, I guess it's kind of Peter's fault
when you're
anyway,
on a
he
team
just didn't
with a bunch
call
of
her.
Gods, why don't we give the one mortal man the Infinity Stones?
I'm pretty sure Pepper just didn't know they were going through this right now. She probably had her own legal troubles to deal with.
And I'm
so,
sure.
Whatever.
Again, I was like, yeah, it looks like Jon Favreau's head.
So the first thing that pops up in Peter's head is like, okay, let's get some magic up in this bitch.
Right.
So he goes over to Stephen Strange's place, the Sanctorum.
Sanctum Sanctorum.
The Sanctum Sanctorum.
Sanctum Sanctorum.
And the reason why he opens up the doors, it's like full of snow, right? And the reason it's full of snow is because I guess one of the portals open to Siberia had like a blizzard come through and just put a bunch of snow in the place.
And the seal wasn't properly done, so it kind of like stopped things from coming through.
Yeah, so then that's why it's so snowy, and it's not because it's Christmas. So
I like the physical gag that everybody kept slipping no matter what.
Yeah, there was that was a gag. Yeah, they were like, careful, it's slippery in here, and then so
Strange lands.
First Strange is the one that slips, and then Peter slips while he's walking over to the fireplace. It's funny, but yeah, and apparently Stephen Strange shows up. He's in his like jacket mode,
his MIT,
and he's not the Sorcerer Supreme anymore.
No, it was a very big surprise, which plays into one of the other things, is that in WandaVision, she was said to be even more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme, which I don't think technically means she's more powerful than Stephen Strange. It just means she's more powerful than Wong.
Stephen Strange. I mean, the current what was it?
Sorcerer Supreme is Wong.
Yeah, so it was given to Wong because Doctor Strange was gone for 5 years. So
if you've seen Shang-Chi, you know why it's great that Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I did watch Shang-Chi. It was good.
Out there gambling, fighting, fucking whoever.
And here's one of the first major points of the movie is that to fix whatever, like, because Peter feels guilty that his friends' lives are getting fucked up because he's Spider-Man. So he goes to Doctor Strange, like, can't you just make everyone forget that I'm Spider-Man?
This is not strange. Can't you just fix my friend's relationship?
And then
this
scene is different than it was portrayed in the trailer, because in the trailer it was like
that happens a few times.
Yeah, Wong is like in the trailer. Wong is like, don't use that spell, and like Stephen Strange just does it anyway. Don't cast that spell. But in this one, he convinces Wong to cast the spell, and apparently it's just some random like normal spell. They've already done it, I guess. And that's the reason why Steven just is down to do it, because it's not really a dangerous spell, I guess.
Right.
They don't consider it to be
dangerous when it's done normally.
Yeah, it's one that they've done before, so they were like, all right, yeah, we can do it. I guess you helped bring back half the universe, so cool. And they go down in the basement, they start doing it.
Okay.
And then Peter fucks up with the spell.
Yeah, like, and here's the thing that people keep talking about. They're like, well, Doctor Strange is the Sorcerer Supreme. Not anymore. He should be able to do this spell without the interference. It's a verbal-based spell that they had set the rules to.
It's magic, dude.
Change because Peter keeps changing it.
Honestly, it's magic, and whatever.
Fucking Doctor Strange is like, stop tampering with it, and Peter's like, oh well, I'm gonna add this one more thing, and then he steps in, he keeps adding and adding, and then as the world is breaking apart, he's like, I'm adding even more.
Yeah, like,
how is that his fault? How is that Doctor Strange's fault?
It's just a lot of nitpicks with this scene. If for people who just really want to nitpick stuff, but you're nitpicking magic, and it just I don't know, it just doesn't work anyway. So
I'm just saying,
just go with it.
It's not Doctor Strange's fault.
To me, it makes sense. It's just like, oh, it's a spell, and Peter fucks up with the spell. There you go. That's the whole point.
Yes.
Yeah. So then Strange is making the spell, and apparently he's making everyone forget. And he's like, oh wait, could you add like MJ doesn't forget? And he's like, all right, and he like rewrites another layer of the spell.
All this stuff strange. Make sure my best friend Ned.
I want my best friend Ned to know too. He's like, all right, and then he rewrites it again.
Oh, Mr. Doctor Strange, make sure my Aunt May doesn't she needs to know.
He rewrites like a fourth layer, but then it starts breaking and then it like explodes. And even while it's exploding and they're like floating in the air while the world around them's like disintegrating, he's like, but I really want my thing to know that I'm Spider-Man.
Well, you see, the fourth one was Aunt May, and then he's like, basically everybody who already knew I was Spider-Man before Mysterio should still know.
Yeah,
and that was the fifth change.
Yeah. I guess.
And then.
Yes. Then it just explodes because I guess the spell just freaking went out of control at that point. And then he brings it back under control. And then he's like, well, fuck off. And then.
Well, no, he's like, you didn't even call? It's me, Stephen Strange. You didn't call?
Yeah. So basically, like, I didn't know about this either, but you can.
I didn't.
You can appeal.
When I heard him say it, I'm like, you can call them?
You can appeal to colleges that you applied to and were denied from to try to, like, get them to reconsider admitting you again. By calling them. No clue. Yeah, I didn't know either.
I had no clue till this movie.
I didn't know either, and neither do I care because I'm already in college, so whatever. I'm good.
I'm not.
So then, so he's like, you didn't even try to appeal, and he's like, I didn't know you could do that, and then he's like, get out. He kicks him out of the Sanctum Sanctorum.
I was like, okay, maybe that's a bit far, Steven. I didn't even know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. How did Steven know? I guess he went to college too, huh? But.
Yeah, I think he was actually wearing his college's shirt.
Was he? Oh, maybe.
Yeah, it was a hoodie that had like some sort of college on it, like university.
I see. Yeah. So then Peter has to go and I guess instead of calling, he actually goes directly to the person who's like head of the admissions office or something, who's randomly in New York.
It's so wrinkly, by the way.
Yeah, and he zips to the bridge, and then that's the bridge scene from the trailer.
Which is a really good scene that the trailers did not make it seem like it would be a good scene. The trailers really made it seem like it'd be pretty boring.
What do you mean? The trailer's literally Doc Ock is on that bridge and Green Goblin's on that bridge, and you said he was boring?
Well, the trailers didn't make it seem like it would be that interesting of a fight. Then, like in the movie, I'm like, okay, here's why it actually looks good. Because it's like they kept releasing stills that made it look horrible, like him running away, and it's like a freeze frame of a spider suit doing this. It's just like that looks horrible.
Okay, well, he gets to the bridge.
A better image.
He gets to the bridge, tries talking to the lady about letting him in, and then they get attacked.
Oh, I love the spider sense scenes.
The spider sense scenes in this they're a lot better done, I think, than in the other two ones. Because in this one, it's like, okay, he's definitely getting the spider sense going on.
I think the closest we got was the end scene where he fights Mysterio and he's like just envisioning the real world.
The biggest one. Yeah.
I really like that, but I don't think it has anything on the spider sense in this movie.
In this one, they did the spider sense really good because it's like they do this thing where it's like he's like centered in the frame, or at least like he's in the frame, but then like everything around him is like starts like zooming out and like blurring out, and then like there's a ringing noise that symbolizes he's getting the sense. But
I also like that the everybody is muted around him when he's in it.
Everything's like muffled.
Still hear them perfectly.
Everything is muffled, but he's understanding them.
Right. Because it's like, while it's out of focus, he can still hear him, and he's like still focusing. It's just one thing is drawing his attention that he needs to find out.
I guess it's just like a danger sense. Like something is going to go wrong, but he just doesn't know what it is.
Right.
Isn't that what the sense is, right? Like it is. It just tells him that something is going to happen.
It's very vague. It never tells
something's going to happen, but it doesn't tell him exactly what's going to happen.
Watch out. That
it's just like
rotten.
It's like the Apex Legends character Wraith, where her passive tells her whenever someone's aiming at her, but it doesn't tell him from where. It's like, hey, watch out.
Hey, watch out.
Someone's aiming at you. You're seen. But yeah, so he gets the spider sense, really, and then Doc Ock comes out of the, like, from beneath the bridge, I guess. He comes out of the ground.
Peter.
Hello, Peter.
Hello, Peter.
Hello, Peter.
What have you done with my machine?
And then they go through this fight scene, which is not bad. I like the fight scene.
It's a really good fight scene.
It's just a fight scene where they're like, Doc Ock's throwing cars at him, and he's trying to get over to the lady whose car is getting thrown off the bridge. And then
it's really good. And
it was good.
She's doing a great job by playing it up.
Oh, she's soldiering through it, dude. She's soldiering through it.
The fucking Lyft driver just left her in the car.
Yeah. So then Doc Ock gets a hold of Spider-Man, like he grabs him, and he's about to like kill him. Actually, he's like one of his claws has like a needle thing, and he like shoots it at Spider-Man, and then I guess
I gotta ask,
his chest blocks it.
How does it pierce the tie?
It's like it like slices the tie, I think. But I'm not sure. Maybe like wearing another layer of shit underneath his tie.
I think it's a good visual gag. I just don't understand how it pierced the tie, but then cut him, but got bent.
I guess it was maybe the nano suit as it was forming.
It's a nitpick that I can move past.
I guess it's not that important. It's not like it'll destroy the entire movie.
Right. It doesn't destroy the plot. But I love if you rewatch the Sam Raimi movies, especially Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 1.
Yeah.
Before watching this,
did he have that in his claws, like the needle thing?
Yes, yeah, the needle thing, because he was gonna stab Spider-Man with it when he was flying at him, and Aunt May, who he kidnapped, is
I do remember that now. Yeah.
Shame on you.
It was that shot of like
smacks him.
It was that shot of like his arm behind his back, and like the needle's there.
It's like, I won't do anything. I promise.
I won't do anything. I promise. It's not a trap. I swear.
I swear. But you think really good. But in those movies, he mentions that he made the arms and the technology for them out of nanotech, because he was using Norman Osborn's technology from Oscorp that Harry lended him.
Oh, I thought it was like I thought it was like his universe had like the same level of technology as the other Spider-Man universe.
It was just a coincidence that nanotech was being like used in both universes. And I'm like, that's a good callback. If you watched both the movies, you'd know that they were using nanotech.
I forgot that they used nanotech
for the chip.
Yeah, I forgot that they used nanotech. But I guess, Spider-Man, I guess in this universe of Spider-Man is nanotech's more advanced. So what happens is he tries to integrate the nanotech into himself, and it makes it seem like he's getting an upgrade, like he's going to be more powerful. But then it gets it taken over.
Honestly.
Like it fucks him over actually. So like
really
that was a clever way of beating Doc Ock, so that was funny. It was like it's like a Bluetooth connection. He like took over.
I really love that he's just like, stop it. When he's doing it, he's just like, what's happening? He's like, your verse just like, can you stop? Can you calm down?
And then Doc Ock himself is like swinging at him, but he just can't reach him. That was funny. I like that.
What are you doing?
That was very cool.
And then Green Goblin shows up.
Green Goblin shows up to the
killer entrance.
Thing. Very good entrance. He comes out like this. He throws a pumpkin bomb, blows up a bunch of cars, and then he comes through the smoke that from the cars.
Just cackling.
Flies in through the smoke, and it's like his suit from like the first. It looks really similar to his suit from the first one.
Something's off about it though. I just feel like
slightly
one
different.
Part is. I feel like it's colored different than what it was.
I think it's a darker green. I think it's a darker green.
Yes, I think the undersuit is a darker green compared to the armor, which it was.
But that's actually the only time we see that costume. So
sadly,
I like it.
It's such a great. People don't like it. I learned. Like growing up, I thought people loved it.
No, but what I meant by I like is I like the fact that they don't have that costume anymore. That they got rid of it. I don't really particularly hate the costume, but I like it better when I just see his face. So
right,
yeah, because I think he does a better job with his face than with the mask.
I think if they had like just morphed the helmet to like just kind of like reveal only this part of his face, it would work a lot better. Like, because I love the giant bug eye yellow eyes, but I think he can just get so emotive with just like his mouth and everything. That it's just like you can't.
Either way, it's we get to see the suit. And before he gets attacked by Goblin, Strange teleports them out of there. Both of them. And then he reveals that, when he did the spell and when it fucked up,
when you did the spell, you released beings into our universe. So basically,
this is one of the major plot points. Every villain that knows Spider-Man is Peter Parker, or everybody who knows Spider-Man is Peter Parker starts like entering their universe. But then Strange says he stops it before like everyone could do it, or everyone that knew that Peter Parker
only a few slipped through.
Only a few slipped through, and it includes.
So Scooby-Doo this shit.
Yeah, so I guess he caught Lizard off screen. Lizard's just already in this like dungeon area.
I would have loved to see their sewer fight scene.
Maybe there's like maybe they come out with like a DVD special and then like an extra scene where Strange is going through the sewers trying to find this thing.
The thing is, I know his brother filmed a scene where his brother played a robber, Tom Holland's brother.
Really?
Where he got captured and was hung upside down. So I'm trying to think
by the lizard.
In what context was that scene? Because they said it got cut from the movie, but it will be in the deleted scenes. So I'd really like to know, like, what was the context? Because apparently he had lines that he was doing, and it was like a whole day that they shot it.
I don't know.
So sounds like it'd be an interesting thing to see, like, what the context behind that was. But
yeah, maybe. So Strange off-screen catches the lizard, and the lizard in this movie doesn't get like really any development at all.
Sadly, no.
But for me, I don't really care because I don't like the lizard that much, and it's the lizard from the Amazing Spider-Man. And even in that movie, he wasn't very good. So I was like, okay,
no,
whatever.
But I really like they just really leaned into the I am gonna make the world lizards. Why?
That was like his entire character. He was
really
one-dimensional. He's just like, everyone will be lizards.
I feel like in the original movie, his motivation was that he wanted everybody to be able to like heal and just live, and that's how he did it through the lizard.
Yeah, but then it got like twisted once he became a lizard. He's just like, you know what? This is like just be a better being than human. Right. I want everyone to be like better than human.
That's a really good callback to a Spider-Man comic where Spider-Man's fighting this pterodactyl villain who's like a guy who turned himself into a pterodactyl, and he's like, you have the power, you have the ability to change like the geometric structure of everything.
And once everyone's super, no one will be.
Spider-Man's like, why would you not try to use this to cure cancer? And the pterodactyl man is like, I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
Like I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people to lizards. That's like the lizard in this movie.
That's the lizard.
I don't care too much that he doesn't get like a bunch of screen time because honestly, he's just a lizard.
They use a different design.
Did they? I thought it was the same one from the Amazing Spider-Man.
It's like subtly different. It's like way more dinosaurish with like the head.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, is it not like the slit nose that they had in the...
It's close, but I don't know. Something's off about
Something
it.
might be a little bit different.
It's not as high definition anymore.
To me it looked a bit to me it looked pretty similar. I don't really care that much.
I think it looks
but yeah, he catches him off screen, and I'm pretty sure
it looks terrifying when it's in the shadows and you just see
it
the
is
eyes.
pretty terrifying. It is just the lizard and Doc Ock that they caught, like right at the start, pretty much. And then Strange is like, okay, you got to go out and Scooby-Doo this shit, meaning you got to go catch all the people that bled through. All the people that bled through there, go catch them. And then he brings in MJ and Ned to help him find these people. And that leads to the scene in the forest.
They have some pretty good scenes together, by the way.
They got a lot of scenes, very very.
I
good
like
scenes.
Their interactions together, and then their interactions when
all of the fight scenes are like interjected with these banter moments between the characters, which are actually really good.
They're really good. Again,
like the jokes in this movie, I think land a lot better than jokes than the jokes in the other movies. Like these jokes are pretty funny.
I also think the fight scenes are a lot better in this one than what we've gotten.
The fight scenes look pretty good too. Yeah.
I especially love the forest one because it's like it's all this build up and everything. It's like, oh, you see Sandman sinking around, but you also see the electricity sparking.
Yeah, you can see the electric sparking. It gives you hints at what this fight scene is going to be like. So like the sand is moving and there's some electricity happening.
Peter, it's me, Flint Marco.
Peter, it's me. Peter, it's me.
As Peter is getting shot at with the lightning, Sandman forms, and he's like, Peter, it's me, Flint Marco.
What first happens is...
you recognize me?
Peter has like a new suit, in quotations. He gets paint.
Turns his suit inside out.
Yeah, he gets paint on his suit that he can't wash off, so he's like, fuck, so he turns his suit inside out, just wears it inside out. So all the wires and stuff on the inside are just outside.
I like that, but I'm also like,
it's an interesting look.
The like the toys and stuff that they put out as like promotional material does not show how messy the actual thing looks.
There's a lot of wiring and stuff.
All of those make it look very clean and nice looking.
Yeah, there's some dangling wires off the suit.
So messy.
There's some like dangling wires off the suit, but it looks good. To me, it looks good.
He duct taped his phone to his chest.
He duct taped the phone to his chest so that Ned and MJ, he's like FaceTiming Ned and MJ on his chest phone.
Couldn't have used nanotech to do it.
Yeah, and also the one plot point I forgot to mention was like Strange enchanted one of his like web shooters, I guess. So that
to bring that up
with the teleporting web. So I guess it's a new ability. He shoots web at someone, it teleports him to the dungeon.
And after like he tries shooting it at Electro and it just goes right.
Yeah, so Electro shows up Electro shows up and he kind of like forms from the electric.
He forms like how he normally does in the Amazing Spider-Man movie, where he's rebuilding his entire structure,
like in energy
Dr.
form,
energy
form, and it starts like forming into this body. And in this one, he's like actually he's just Jamie Foxx. He's not like playing a character or anything. It's just Jamie.
Well, at first it's forming into the normal blue body, but because it's taking so long, I think his like literal entire structure is being rebuilt because he was taking the moment that he was like just pure like energy.
I think the point in the movie was like the energy in this world is different from the energy in the other world. So in another world he was blue, but in this one he's just a normal dude with yellow electricity.
Right. I like both versions, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think they're fine. So he forms up and he shoots the teleporting web at him, misses. Or I guess it just goes right through him because he's electric. And then they start fighting each other.
Spider-Man gets dubstepped.
Yeah. He's swinging around while Electro's shooting electric at him. And then Sandman shows up to save him, I guess.
Gator, it's me, Flint Marko.
Yeah, and it turns out that this Sandman is the one from right at the end of Spider-Man 3, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that's the only time I remember that Sandman knows who Spider-Man is right at the end.
Yeah, but also this is a contending point. Electro did not know who Peter Parker was, and Sandman was not killed by Spider-Man.
I was about to ask you about that. I was about to ask you if Electro knew who Spider-Man was.
I think no, he didn't. Peter Parker never revealed his identity, and they confirmed that because at the end of the movie, he's like, I kind of thought you were a black kid.
Because like the only thing I can think of is maybe he got sent to this universe because he had like a weird obsession with Spider-Man. Like he thought he was his best friend or something.
I was gonna say, I think it's because it got cross-wired, and it's not just everybody that. I think it was everybody who knew Spider-Man, because at the end there were tons of people who were hinted at as coming through, and I'm like, there's a lot that could be said.
So I guess maybe Strange just worded it weirdly. So it's just people who knew Spider-Man instead of knew that Spider-Man was Peter Parker.
It's also like a dimensional breaking spell, because it's also like, well, why wouldn't some characters get brought over but other ones did and everything? It's like, well, Green Goblin and Burrow Goblin knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man, died because of him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So anyway, they show up and then Electro gets captured with the help of Sandman, because Sandman actually helps Peter out, I guess, in that
because they're friends at the end of Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, because they're not enemies. They're not enemies.
Right.
Because Sandman's technically just a dude. He's just a dude who can turn into sand. It's not like he doesn't have like an evil goal. So yeah.
Him in that part is why I think it's in the moment where they got taken away was when he turned into dust, into sand, and flew off at the end of Spider-Man 3. I think that was the moment he got taken.
Yeah.
And I think the moment Electro got taken was when he was literally in the form of pure energy.
Yeah, and I guess we forgot to mention when Doc Ock got taken, but Doc Ock got taken right when in that scene when he had his claw around Spider-Man's neck.
Right.
Because he said it too. He's like, I had my claw around your neck.
People have theorized that they were taken in the moment right before they all had a turn. For Doc Ock, it's when he like suddenly he's like back to normal,
when he regains control over his mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he saves Peter, and then for like Green Goblin, it's in the moment he goes, uh-oh, and he gets stabbed.
I don't think that's where he got taken.
No, I think he got taken. Well, it has to be a moment he was alive, and it can't be the Godspeed Spider-Man, because if he got returned
I think it was somewhere around that Thanksgiving dinner scene. Maybe like right after that, because I think they get taken right when they figure out who Spider-Man is, or at least have some interaction with Spider-Man. They get taken right after.
I'm trying to justify it because I'm like, why was he? I know why he was sand, but why was he sand the entire time?
I don't know, but he's Sandman.
I know, but he isn't sand all the time in the other movie.
I think it's because there's some conflict with the actor or something. Like the actor didn't come back to do it in person. He couldn't show up to
physically film.
He couldn't show up to do it.
The same with the Lizard. They both did ADR, and they just got like physically edited in, like with stuntmen.
I could tell.
And the thing is, I by the way, I think Sandman's like body, the way it moves, it's very fluid. And like you see the scene where he's wiping the dirt off, I think you can really see his entire body moving Like, you know,
I gotta say this: the CG really in this movie is really good. Okay, mostly
the CG is really good. The green screening at some very specific points is not very good.
I can only really remember one spot with green screening near the end. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, yeah, they get taken, and then I think that's the entire crew. No, wait, no, that's not the entire crew. He takes Electro, then Sandman's like, what the fuck did you just do? And then he takes him too.
Sandman is like, suddenly has a turn. He's like, did you just, holy shit, did you kill him?
No, he didn't kill him. he takes Electro, he takes Sandman too. And then he gets a call, or I guess he stays and cleans up. But that's beside. He gets a call and he's like, yo, I think I got one of your dudes here at the feast shelter, which is the homeless shelter. Yeah, and then Spider-Man runs into the feast thing, which is in the trailer, you know, where he's like in his suit. Yeah. He's still in his like inside out suit.
Well, firstly, Green Goblin is hiding his glider.
Yeah.
And he's having the split personality conversation with the helmet that he does in the Spider-Man 1. And I love that. I love that they recreated that.
They recreated that pretty well.
I'm not a bad guy.
He's like in a dumpster alleyway. Like he's just like kneeling down the ground, and he starts like having this conversation with his crazy self, and then he smashes the mask and then runs off.
And they recreate the scene of Peter Parker leaving his suit in the trash can, which is a homage to the comic Spider-Man No More,
which is an homage to the Spider-Man 2 movie.
The movie is an homage to the comic that's an homage to the movie.
Yeah, there you go. So he shows up at the feast shelter, and it's Norman Osborn. It's not like it's not Goblin.
It's so normal.
It's just Norman Osborn.
He's like, oh hi Peter.
Yeah, so anyways, it's like the really.
My house.
Anyways, I tried looking for it, and there's no Oscorp. There's no Oscorp.
I don't know how
my
I feel
son
about that.
Harry.
There's no Oscorp.
Harry. There's no Harry.
My son Harry, James Franco, Harry Osborn. Yeah. It's not real.
Yeah, and then it's a pretty great scene.
Weed has been legal.
Is a really funny scene because like he's just a dude. He's like a homeless crazy man.
A dude having an existential crisis.
He's having an existential crisis, and he's like trying to steal donuts from the box. He's like shoving them in his pockets.
Billionaire Norman Osborn.
Yeah, billionaire Norman Osborn. Basically the Tony Stark of the Spider-Man 1 universe.
It's so great. I love that the moment they turn around.
I think it's really good. It's really good character development for Goblin. Goblin gets a lot of screen time in this movie.
Willem Dafoe is amazing.
Willem Dafoe.
He stole the show.
As the villain, I think he's like the main villain in this movie.
He's definitely the main villain.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they take him. And actually, he doesn't get teleported. He just takes him over to the.
Yeah, I love that. I love that they just walk in.
They just drive him over there in the van. So.
So yeah, this is Norman Osborn. Oh hey, what's up, man?
Yeah.
Oh hello.
They walk in. All the villains just then introduce themselves and when they got taken, except for Goblin. I don't think Goblin said anything.
No, I don't think he says anything. I think it's
I don't think Sandman says anything either. But I know Electro said something.
Ock, who says it's like, Norman, you're dead.
No, he says like he's like Osborn. You're dead. You're supposed to be dead. What?
What?
What do you mean?
What do you mean I'm supposed to be
dead?
I'm
right here. No, Spider-Man killed you a few years back.
And then Strange walks in and he's like, he is supposed to be dead. Whip, you're teleported. Ah, Peter. Peter, help.
Help me, Peter.
Peter, what's going on, Peter?
Yeah, and then Strange comes in. He's like, all right. Good job. I'm just gonna set up. I put the spell in this box. Once I press the button on this box, we're all good.
And then the lizard is like, Max, is that you?
Yeah, the lizard starts talking, and I forgot that the lizard can talk.
It's so jarring because he doesn't say a word the entire time.
It shocked everyone it shocked all the characters, but it also shocked me in the theater because I forgot that lizard could talk.
You had the same reaction of Doctor Strange. It's like, and also, I had no clue you could even talk.
You could talk? It's funny. So yeah, he comes in and he's like, all right, got the spell. It'll turn them all. Go back to their universes. And then his Spider-Man's like, but what will happen to them when they go back? And he's like, well, they're all gonna die. It's their fate to die to the hands of Spider-Man. And it's like, what? What do you mean?
Fair. Hold on. Tobey Maguire didn't kill him. Tobey Maguire
To
didn't
be
kill
fair,
him. Tobey Maguire didn't kill him. Andrew Garfield didn't kill him. Andrew Garfield didn't kill him.
I know that the Lizard doesn't die, and I know that Sandman doesn't die.
Oh my god, I think Electro is the only villain Spider-Man actually directly kills.
Electro, I know Electro very clearly died to Spider-Man. Spider-Man actually kills Electro.
Electrocuted the fuck out of Electro.
Overloaded Electro and made him blow up.
He killed Topher Grace's Venom, but not directly. It was that he tried killing Venom and then Topher Grace jumped in.
Yeah, he threw a bomb at Venom, and then Topher Grace jumped into the bomb. But Topher Grace is not there, so whatever.
Yeah, I was like, why wouldn't Topher Grace be there? I feel like that'd be the perfect person.
Only some people got dragged through chains. Only some. That's why MJ's not there, and
I was going to say
other people didn't there.
What if Gwen Stacy showed up?
Yikes, dude, that would be a huge. That'd be so traumatic for Garfield.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, he would just stand there like,
dude,
what the fuck?
I feel like they really robbed him of that moment when he was going to say, like, I know what you're going through. Peter's like, no, you don't. It's like, I killed my girlfriend by accident.
He didn't kill his girlfriend. He failed to save his girlfriend.
No, I know. But yeah. Like, he'll definitely still blame himself and say that he killed her.
Absolutely.
The thing. And it's just like, I feel like you robbed him of having that emotional, just like,
well, fuck Andrew Garfield. He sucks. Anyway, so.
Hey, man, what's with all the self-hate,
Whoa,
man?
whoa, what's with the self-hate?
You're amazing.
So then all the villains are like, wait a minute.
I never noticed that focal, by the way.
I like how they're talking about how all these villains are gonna die like right in front of them. So all the villains are like, wait, what? I die?
It's their fate to die, Spider-Man.
Jamie Foxx is all like, oh, I was there and I was shooting electric in this dude and I was about to kill him, but then I
take this.
I don't remember what happened. And Doc Ock's like, I had him by the neck and I was just gonna strangle him, and then I don't remember after that. So then
Sandman's like, I was going to go see my daughter.
And then Sandman was like, you both die to Spider-Man.
You both get fucked
Goblin
up.
And Doc Ock died as Spider-Man. So yeah.
I live though, because I'm a hero.
I live though, because I'm sand, and you can't kill sand.
Sand is eternal.
There will always
Even
be
at
sand.
The death of the universe, I will exist.
Yeah, and then so he's gonna send them all back, but then Tom Holland's Spider-Man's like, but maybe we can help them. And he's like tapping his fingers together, but maybe we can help them.
Maybe we can help them, Mr. Doctor Strange.
Yeah, and then Doctor Strange's like, no, I'm sending them back. And then fight scene between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, which was cool. That was a really good scene. They fight. Well, basically, Spider-Man takes the box. He like shoots the box, takes it, and then he gets chased down by Doctor Strange. He gets like that astro form projected on him when he gets outside. And then
I really like that because in his astral form, you can see the comic book Spider Sense.
Yeah, he's got like the little tingle on his head. He's got the spider tingle on his head.
Dude,
and then also his body is like actually moving without his soul in it. And it's strange. It's like, what are you doing? How are you doing that? That should not be possible.
Like the sound effects that they were using there.
The sound effects?
Because it was the same repeated.
Oh, was it?
It was just the same exact noise that they kept reusing. And I'm like, come on, guys. This is a Marvel movie. You could do something other than
like
stock
a triple A, please.
Sound.
Yeah, but then like he's like Strange like trying to reach for the box, but it's Spider-Man's body's like moving it out of the way like someone playing with a kid. Like, oh, you can't get this. It's funny because Doctor Strange keeps trying to get this box for like the entire time Peter's in his astral form.
Yeah, Peter's like T-posing.
Yeah, he's like T-posing and like slowly levitating back toward his body. And then Strange is trying to grab this box. Yeah, and then he gets sent to the mirror dimension. They fight in the mirror dimension. A bunch of cool visuals happen.
Oh, real quick, before they went to the mirror dimension, did you notice that on one of the magazines they passed by, it was Peter's girlfriend from the first movie, and she was quoted as saying, "Peter Parker is a liar." Was
it? You mean like the MJ actor?
No, the Liz Taylor or Liz, whoever Vulture's daughter was.
Oh, right, I forgot about her. Yeah,
Vulture's she daughter. Showed up on a magazine cover, and apparently the quote on it says, "Peter Parker is a liar."
Oh, I see. Because he took her to the prom and ditched her or something.
I was going to say more specifically, because he used her to get to Vulture in her eyes, probably.
Maybe, yeah.
When you really think about it, because he never explained it, like, hey, I was dating you and I happened to find out that your dad
that is true.
A bad guy.
Yeah, in her eyes, he's probably like, he's an evil mastermind, like manipulating me to get it. But in like actuality, it's just like, hi, I'm here. I'm here for the date. Oh my god, your dad's Vulture.
Life is like a hurricane.
It's like the Plankton
Life
voice.
Is like a hurricane here.
It's like, you know that Plankton scene? So like the fish walks up to him, but it's just got Liz's face on him, and he's like, "You think this is a joke, huh?"
What?
And it's just it's just a regular. Oh my god! And it's just Michael Keaton's face.
Yes, it's Michael Keaton. Then it cuts the Vulture just.
Oh my goodness! But yeah, that was an interesting. I didn't notice that. No. Yeah, so they fight in the mirror dimension. Peter really outsmarts Doctor Strange and traps him there
with geometry.
Oh, I guess yeah, because the mirror dimension is just fractals, I guess. So geometry,
fractals on fractals math. On fractals.
Quick maths.
Quick
boom,
maths.
Big shot. Ota sneak.
Okay, let's move on. Wait, hold on. Let's move on.
So he traps in the mirror. He traps him in the mirror dimension, and he kind of just stays there for like the rest of the movie.
He takes his sling ring
until the very end. Yeah, takes his sling ring, and then hops out. And then here's the part where it starts. Well, I mean, it's still kind of like the entire movie up to this point is still like kind of lighthearted banter tone, like the classic Marvel tone from movies. And then he gets all the villains, and I guess he just bargains with them.
We didn't mention the part where Norman Osborn is leaning up against a wall, and he's like, I'm something of a scientist myself.
I think I get that. I think that's the part right
Shut the
here.
fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, where he's like, I think it was like they were trying to, or Peter was like, we could cure these people. I mean, we got all this technology. Can't we just fix them up? And then Norman's just leaning against the wall, like, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Shut the fuck up.
There's a lot of fan servicey lines like that, but it's near the end of the movie, or near the later.
I think they're used really well, though. I don't feel like
I mean, in Doc Ock's appearance, he did say the power of the sun in the palm of my hand. So,
but it worked. I felt like he wasn't like evil when he was doing it, and it was like a very good like parallel to it.
Yeah. So he just bargains with all the villains. He's like, listen. If I press this button on this box right now, you're all gonna die. So how about you come with me and I try to fix you, and maybe you won't die.
Yeah, and then he gives it to MJ, and MJ's like, I will murder every single last one of you.
I will murder them.
And then Sandman's like, I just want to see my daughter.
I just want to see my daughter.
I just want to see my daughter.
And then the funny thing is, he just takes them all to his apartment. Like they just come on in. Like it's a boy club, dude.
It was literally like
me and the boys
where they just all entered the apartment.
Yeah, it's like it cuts like this camera feed like view where it's just like them walking past into the room.
Oh, dude, people have edited the Spider-Man 3 song when Electro walks into the camera.
Yeah, because it's funny because Electro, he's like messing with the signals because he's Electro. So they all go into the apartment and they're just like hanging out, and this is like part of the funniest parts of the movie because
it's like a frat.
Yeah, it's like a frat.
It's great.
Gathered, and it's just like it's like the Spider-Man's most like powerful villains all just in his apartment with anime.
Right. Dude, I love Sandman like sitting on the couch, all the sand pours off and he just like keeps wiping it, and there's just more and more. He's like
he sits on the couch.
Sorry.
He sits on the couch, a bunch of sand comes off of him onto the couch. He's like, oh, sorry about that. He's like trying to wipe it off.
Every time he wipes, there's
but it
more
just gets worse
more.
Because it's like spreading the sand everywhere. And then like Doc Ock is still like he's still like restrained by his own arms.
What are you doing to me?
Stop it.
I'm gonna die.
Aunt May comes in. You want a glass of water? Fresh water or salt water? Because you're an octopus. He's like, what the fuck?
Fuck you.
Like on his face is like, this girl's messing with me. This girl's fucking with me right now.
Boom.
Yeah, so a bunch of funny stuff. They the villains talk to each other in this scene.
Yeah,
they just start
it's nice
bantering. And it's funny to see that they're actually people and not just like, I'm going to kill Spider-Man. I want to kill Spider-Man.
I thought that was another thing that's like, despite them not being MCU characters, they were handled very well and very respectfully to their original.
Like Sandman talking with Electro. Like Electro's just like, the energy in this world is like so cool. I love being here. And dude, then Sandman's like, what happened to you? And he's like, I fell in a vat of eels.
I love. And he's
like, oh, I fell in it.
Sandman and Electro. They're just like two guys that have very similar events. And they're like, oh, you fell into a vat of eels. A vat of sand.
I fell into a collider. And he's like, oh, gotta be careful where you fall. It's like, what the fuck? It really seems like they're just like dudes who was just in really bad circumstances.
It is though. It really is.
Well, I mean, Sandman technically is like that, so.
Well,
Electro
Marco, it's like he didn't want to kill Uncle Ben. His other robber like shoved him.
Wasn't it like it was an accident? He accidentally shot him.
He was just like, here, I'm just gonna take your car. I'm not gonna hurt you. And
I
then
just want your car.
Yeah, and then his partner runs up and like shoves his arm, which then like shoves the gun into him, which forces his finger to pull the trigger and shoots Uncle Ben. And it's like, it was a complete accident. He didn't intend to shoot him at all.
Yeah, I mean, he was even there when Uncle Ben was dying. He like pulled him out of the car and he's like lays him down on the ground like, oh shit.
Well, no, he pulled him out of the car beforehand. And he was just talking there. And he was standing there talking to him like just very.
I mean, after he shot him.
Oh yeah, like no, he laid him down. He's like, oh my god, and then he's like,
oh my god, it shot you. I gotta go. Gotta bounce. But yeah, like the conversations are really interesting.
I love Peter and Norman just like geeking out about it.
I love the 3D printer that they've got in their apartment. Stark's 3D printer. 3D printer. I mean, it's just like an advanced 3D printer, I guess. So they just build Doc Ock like a new microchip thing. And then Doc Ock's like,
it looks like something out of the Raimi-verse too. It doesn't feel like it's something that's very like
because mostly because of the needles things that they put on it, like the 6 needles that they put on it. I was like, damn, that looks really close. Looks really close.
Very specific things look really
attention
good.
to detail. It looks good. And then Doc Ock's like, no, stop it. I don't want to be fixed like a dog. But then like as he's getting raised up into the air. I don't know why they had to do it on the second floor, but they did.
That's actually very close to what happened in reality when they were filming this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Holland was talking about in an interview. He'd be talking to Alfred Molina, the guy playing Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Like they would be doing the bridge scene. They'd just be talking off camera, and then all of a sudden, mid conversation, Alfred would be like, "Oh yeah, anyway," and they just start ascending into the air.
What?
We're in the middle of conversation, and then he would just go completely blank as he starts floating into the air.
Yeah, it's crazy, Working on the set of Spider-Man 2 is so cool. I just had to. Oh.
It's literally just, oh yes,
I wish he just like stiffens T poses up and just starts floating. That'd be hilarious, dude. But yeah,
that's apparently pretty close.
He plants the microchip on Doc Ock and it fixes him.
Oh man, I love that scene. I love when good Doc Ock came back.
I thought he actually just killed him. For a second there, I thought he just died.
What are you doing?
I was like, this is it. This is the consequence. But no, he comes back up.
It's the Rocka Suicide Squad video.
See, look, their fate was to die by Spider-Man. Because I thought it was gonna be something like they're gonna go like a super dark turn where Doc Ock dies from it or something, and then all the villains just go berserk after they know that he just killed Doc Ock. But no, like Good Ock returns, so it's basically just the end of Spider-Man 2, but actually not dying.
I love him showing up.
Yeah, he just like has a full 180 on his character. So yeah, and it actually is just like the professor at the beginning of Spider-Man 2, I guess. Although I guess this Doc Ock, his girlfriend his wife also died. So oh well.
Yeah, it felt very nice though. If I'm being honest, like seeing him just be there,
seeing that not all the villains are like full on villains, crazy.
He's so kind.
I forgot how good of a dude he was in the beginning of Spider-Man 2, because he was actually a good dude.
He's a father figure to Peter,
and he was a scientist that was building the machine for the good of people.
Good reasons.
Yeah.
Right, and what that's also what Norman was doing. He's like,
yeah, Norman was doing that too. Although I'm pretty sure Norman wasn't too great of a dude, but maybe that's.
No, he was a bit of a dick of a father, but he was like, I'm building the super soldier serum to help soldiers. I'm building this glider suit
because I'm a patriot.
Yeah, he's like, because I'm a patriot.
Do you know how much I've sacrificed? Back to formula.
The fuck? I love the dubbing of that video where it's just ravioli.
But yeah, so good Doc returns, and then they plant this device on Electro that's like siphons his energy, I guess.
Oh yeah, and he's having like a panic attack.
He's like super uncomfortable, and he's like anxious. He's like, I don't like this. I don't like this feeling.
I don't like it, Sam. It's just like, don't touch it.
Sam is like, don't touch it. Just
leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Jesus, I just want to go get back home as fast as I can. Stop.
And then it cuts the downstairs where the lizard is sitting in the back of the moving van.
Yeah, apparently Lizard's just in the van. He's just chilling in the van. Like, I'm pretty sure the directors of this try to make the lizard just stay out of it for as long as possible because they just didn't like Lizard or something.
I was gonna say it would be like having him in so much of it, they would have to like practically have him be like moving around a guy on stilts, having to walk around all the time. You know, like have
or maybe they just didn't like Lizard or whatever. Anyway, though, Lizard's just in the van downstairs, like all the way to the bottom floor.
He's just rocking around in the bottom of the van.
He's scared a couple dudes who walked past him.
A poor gay couple walking past Lizard got frightened.
Yeah, like the freaking old van shakes and they're like, whoa, what the fuck? Pretty funny.
And as they're doing this, Doc Ock's like, Norman, aren't you happy that you're going to go back to your normal self? No more voices in your head.
Did you notice that when he was...
Just you.
When Doc Ock was evil and he's controlled by the tentacles, that he calls Norman Osborn. But only when he's good that he starts calling him by his first name. So he says Norman.
Okay. Yeah. I did not notice that.
That was an interesting shift.
I did know going in that a huge difference is that when he's evil, his tentacles, the lights on him are red. But when he's good, they're white.
That was also in Spider-Man 2, I think. Yeah.
It was. It's how you know that he became a good guy at the end of the movie is when he regained
the lights start shaking and they turn white. So, yeah.
It was very nice to see that they reused that fact.
It's interesting. I didn't think they would actually bring in good Doc Ock back in. I thought he was just gonna stay evil.
Especially this early.
Yeah, it was pretty early. It's still in Act 2. Still Act 2. Act 3 hasn't gone through yet.
And Doc Ock is like, you know, Norman, aren't you happy you're gonna come back to being a normal person? And Green Goblin's like, yes, just me.
Yes.
I'm not evil.
Was that when he was already evil? I'm pretty sure he was evil already and still pretending or something.
I think he was trying to cure everyone as Norman, but then when the idea that it would just be him came, evil Green Goblin took over.
I see. He was like, okay, now it's time for me to step in.
I think he was Norman for quite a while, but
and
every
then
time that he was put in,
while they're like developing the serum, so Electro's still being siphoned. They haven't done anything for Sandman or Lizard yet, and they're drawing up the serum for Goblin, or they're finishing it up, and then we get like a really good spider sense scene.
It's the chest mounted camera too. The shot from the Amazing Spider-Man movies where they would have the camera be mounted to his chest, so it's like moving with his body. Yeah, I love that they reused that for the spider sense.
They reused that for like the most of this scene, like all of this scene pretty much is just him like centered on the camera. So like I love the effects of this because like it's like a normal shot, but then like he's like perfectly clear and he doesn't move from his angle in the shot, but like everything around him starts blurring and it zooms out, so like it goes out of focus, and you start hearing the spider sense sound effect, and like stands up, and you can hear in the background like the Doc Ock like, you okay, Peter?
Peter, are you
Peter,
okay?
What's wrong? And he's like I don't know. May?
Right.
And he like walks into the living room and he starts looking at all the villains, because I'm guessing he's sensing that something's about to happen. And I guess he just
you're made to think it's Electro.
Yeah, you think it's Electro because it like he starts because it looks at
him
him
panic attack because it's about to finish.
And he's like why are you looking at me like that? But then it turns out that that it was actually Goblin. So he webs Norman's hand to like the telescope or something. There's like a telescope
to the robot.
Yeah, there's like a robot, the robot I guess. And he's like, that's an interesting sense you got there. And it's just like full on Goblin.
That's quite the sense you got there, Peter.
Norman's on sabbatical.
Oh my god, I love that line and that delivery. That was so Willem Dafoe having fun. It's just like,
I'm pretty sure they had a lot of fun reliving their characters.
Norman's on sabbatical, hun.
Norman, are you alright? Norman's on sabbatical.
I love that he says hun
his voice is like really good for this Goblin.
Dude, he's so great.
Right, and his face like really shows it too.
Because he is the Green Goblin. His entire face is Green Goblin.
It's Green Goblin-ish, yeah. So like he turns full on evil.
It's like Jim Carrey doing the Grinch face.
Yeah, and I forgot how exactly they got into this fight scene. I guess did his glider show up or something?
No, first it was Electro who tears it off.
So it was Green Goblin that convinced everybody. They're like, no, we don't need to be cured. We're in a whole new world. We can do whatever we want. We're gods. And then Electro's like, you're right. And he like rips off his thing, shoots Doc Ock with the electric.
Right,
I thought it would turn Doc Ock back.
Down.
Because you know how like Doc Ock gets electrocuted and his chip breaks in the Spider-Man 2? I thought when he gets shocked, that would happen and he would like turn back. I think
we were made to believe that's what would happen, because at the end of the movie when he shows up, I feel like that's what we were made to think. Really? Is that the chip broke again and everything.
Yeah, I thought that might happen, but it didn't show like the chip breaking or anything like that. So I was like, oh, maybe he just got shocked. So he gets like shot out of the building, Doc Ock, but I guess he's fine and he like runs away, I guess. Right. And then the lizard just breaks out and he runs away. Or the lizard breaks out, but he doesn't run away right away. Sandman books it though. Sandman books it, and and Electro, I think he shoots and then he books it.
He steals the arc reactor first.
Yeah, he takes the arc reactor and then he books it, and then it's a fight between Peter Parker and Green Goblin, and this is a really good fight scene. They're just fighting in this apartment building, and there's like two superhumans. Two superhumans just like beating the fuck out of each other. But you can clearly tell that Goblin is winning because he's like taking no damage.
I love that Peter he's fought villains.
Yeah.
But he's never fought anybody that's either on the physicality of him or more. And it's
because I always remember him fighting stuff like he breaks through this window and then like Winter Soldier punches him, but he's like, whoa, cool metal arm.
Right. Like he doesn't do physical fighting, and it's like this was so emotionally just charged and like led, and it was so good.
Yeah, it was mostly charged because May was in that building too. She was like right there, and she's like getting hurt.
One of the best fight scenes in all of Marvel. I will fight anyone. This was amazing.
Yeah, it was even better because William Dafoe was like the one doing it. It's like his face is just straight there, and he's like laughing at Spider-Man as he's getting punched in the face. But
it was because Willem Dafoe is like, I don't want to be just offset once
I got this
in the shot. I want to be there, and I want to do as many stunts as I can, and I want to wear this suit, and I want to do all this stuff. Like,
by the way, his suit is really good.
Here are my things.
Because his suit's like a mix of like his homeless rag, but it's also his suit underneath it, like his Green Goblin suit.
He immediately lost the giant robe. And it was just like the
it was just like the ripped scarf, the ripped jeans and stuff over the suit itself. Like he's still wearing the suit. Very good suit. And they just go to town on each other. And Spider-Man gets like beat the fuck up in this fight.
Yeah, dude.
He gets beat up.
Did you notice that he was doing the combos from the video game as well?
No. Oh, you mean like where he like jumps up and then he shoots the webs at the ground and then like pulls himself toward the ground while he's on it?
Flip on him and then he jumps up and like, dude, it's
double kick slams him down to the ground. Yes. Yeah, that reminded me of the video game. Yeah.
Dude, I loved him jumping on top of Norman and then just like wailing on him.
Yeah, he's like going to town on this guy.
What do you think you're doing?
Like he's actually like punching the fuck out of. He's trying to beat the shit out of Norman, but he's like just taking it to the face and he's like laughing.
It's so practically done.
Yeah, too. It looks really good. And then like Norman does like this suplex on him, and they just fall through like all the building floors. Dude, the suplex was really good.
Lizard like jumps in for a couple of seconds and leaves.
Yeah, what happened is Lizard's just like on the side of the building or something, and then like as Spider-Man's getting like punched out of the building, he like grabs him. He's like, "See, I told you things would go wrong," and he like throws him back into the building toward Goblin. It's pretty funny.
Lizard's like, "This wouldn't happen if everybody was lizards." Yeah.
Lizards.
Anyways,
I'm a lizard. You gotta skedaddle. But yeah,
now that you've heard me out.
Yeah, Aunt May is like evacuating. She's like running down the stairs or something, going toward the exit. And then they reach the bottom floor, actually, because he suplexed him down to the bottom floor.
I love how practical it is. It's so Raimi.
Yeah, the whole like ceiling breaks through and it's all practical and they just fall down to crash. And then Spider-Man's like, he's like noticeably fucked up. Like his face is all bloody and shit.
But is tearing, the face is bloody.
Yeah.
I love when Tom Holland Spider-Man just like you can see him being hurt.
Yeah, he's got like a bunch of cuts on his face. He's like bleeding, and then the Goblin is like totally fine.
Yeah.
Or he might not be totally fine, but he's crazy, so he might as well just be fine.
It's the ending of Spider-Man 1 where Tobey Maguire's suit is all fucked. He's just beat up. His mask is all torn apart and everything. He's bleeding, and it's like, it's so perfect when
kind of reminds me of that. Yeah,
can be hurt.
Yeah, and then this is like one of the most emotional scenes because what happens is, Aunt May is there at the ground floor, and then Goblin and Spider-Man there too. But then Goblin's like, he's like by Spider-Man, like picking up by his hair or whatever. And then like Aunt May is like standing there,
a knee on his back, like holding him down.
And Aunt May is standing there, like ready to tackle Goblin or something, like to attack Goblin.
Up a piece of like rebar with
he has like a little concrete. It looks like a hammer. Over the head. Looks like a hammer, and she's like ready in a stance to attack him. But then like Goblin's glider comes in from like the front entrance behind May, and like it flies in and it like knocks her to the side, like really violently. Like I gotta say, she took a big hit there. It looked like a big hit.
You can see the spot that she gets stabbed in, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that the glider kind of just like it sliced her up, and it also like internally damaged her, probably.
I was thinking it like
she flew to the side.
I wasn't thinking one of the blades particularly, but one of the pointy ends, because it looks like it catches her on like one of the jet parts that are like very pointy, and like it gets her in the back and like just stabs right through and then deposits her off.
I don't think it was that graphic. To me, it just seemed like it was the front end of the glider.
But implication wise,
yeah, that might have been it. Because this is a Marvel movie. At the end of the day, you can't see, you don't really see much blood.
Right, but dude, there's a lot of blood for a Marvel movie.
There is a lot of blood for a Marvel movie, but you don't see any wounds. No wounds, no open wounds.
No, but you do see a bloody spot on her back in the wide shot when it's throwing her off.
Yeah,
that's the thing I noticed. Like in that shot when I was watching it,
I think she might have been impaled by the glider as it flew in. But either way, she got hit really hard. She like flew off to the side, and then like that was like one of the moments where like, holy shit, she got really hurt there.
Oh, well, the first thing was the reason like Spider-Man couldn't actually fight him is that he threw a pumpkin bomb. Like he somehow got a pumpkin bomb and threw it into the middle of the room, which exploded right next to Spider-Man, and then like all this happened. And
no, I think that was after this happened.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was after.
Before. Either or. It happened.
Either way, it did happen. The way I remember is that he's already beat up on the ground when they came crashing through the ceiling, and then Goblin picks him up. Aunt May gets hit by the glider, and then Spider-Man's like no, and then like he pushes him off, and he's like trying to get toward Aunt May, but then Goblin jumps on his glider, and then he throws the pumpkin bomb, right? Because he's on his glider.
That's what it was.
Yeah, so he's on his glider. He throws the pumpkin bomb.
He does the.
He's like, told you, Spider-Man. And then
Spider-Man.
He throws the pumpkin bomb.
Been legalized.
He throws it. He throws it at Aunt May.
You're the one getting smoked, Gobby.
He throws it at Aunt May, and then Peter has to like smack it away, and then he gets like caught in the explosion of the pumpkin bomb, and then Goblin flies off.
We forgot to mention Doc Ock deposited some of the Iron Spider suit back on the Peter.
Oh yeah, right, when he got cured.
Yeah, he deposited
It's like the very small part where the little chest piece that he ripped off at the beginning,
which somehow covered all of his tentacles.
I think it covered some of it. It was like
a
very small part.
Scaling.
Yeah, it was like a very small part of his tentacles, but either way,
still.
Yeah, so he smacks the pumpkin bomb, and then Spider-Man's like really fucked up at this point because he got into a fire goblin, lost, and then Aunt May like stands back up, and they have like this little talk where they're like, "Oh man, that was tough. You all right?" And like, yeah, totally fine. And then he's like, "See, I told you we shouldn't have tried it because it was actually Aunt May's idea to try and cure all of them at first." And then Peter's like, "Okay, yeah, we'll do it." But then like now you can see the consequences of that action, where it's like, because you try to heal all these people, you got fucked up.
Yeah.
And so Spider-Man's like, "See, we should have done it anyway." And Aunt May's like, "I regret nothing." And then she's like, "I gotta take a nap." So then she like starts collapsing. And I'm not gonna lie, James, this part surprised me because I didn't think this would happen. I didn't think this would happen, but Aunt May fucking dies in this movie. She like dies. It is a pretty emotional scene.
So here's the thing, in the trailers,
Yeah,
it made it seem like Happy was gonna get fucking blown away by the DODC when he drove up.
Yeah. With all their guns aiming at him. Yeah.
Dude, I thought I was about to watch Happy just get fucking murked, just blown into oblivion. But no, it's not him.
Yeah, so Aunt May, like, she dies after delivering the great responsibility line, which
by the way,
Uncle Ben does before he dies.
But she read it in the original way it was said. With great responsibility, there must also come. With great power, there must also come great responsibility. Not with great power comes great responsibility.
Like the shortened version from the Sam Raimi.
Yeah. She read it in the way that the original comic that Stan Lee had wrote in the first time it was used. She said it in the same exact way.
Yeah, and it made sense because they were talking about how, he
didn't change the message or anything.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good delivered. It was pretty well delivered. It hit home.
I feel like there isn't an Uncle Ben in this universe, but there also is. And I'm just like,
well, I mean, Aunt May is the Uncle Ben in this universe now, right?
Right, but I mean,
that what it's supposed to be?
An Uncle Ben?
Maybe. Either way, we don't know. So yeah, Aunt May dies, and she just becomes this Peter Parker's Uncle Ben. So she dies. DOD shows up. Happy also shows up. Because I guess
Happy skirts.
Yeah, he saw the camera feed of the doorway, where he's like, "Yeah, a bunch of people walked into your apartment, dude. What's with that?"
Yeah, Peter,
gotta tell me.
Who are all these men? Who are all these people who entered my apartment?
I think I saw some dude with multiple arms, walk in there. What's with that?
Was that one of the people you were fighting?
Yeah, and Happy sees Aunt May die, so that's pretty sad too. Dude. And also, Spider-Man gets shot by the DOD. So
yeah, what the fuck?
They just start shooting at him. I don't know why.
Dude, Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland both just get shot because of
Tom Holland gets shot in the arm, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't get the bullet removed because he's still in that end fight scene. He's probably fighting. He's fighting with broken ribs because I'm pretty sure he says his ribs are broken, and he's got a bullet wound on him. Yeah, it's crazy. He gets shot in the shoulder, and then he takes off. But yeah, that was an emotional scene. That was a really dark scene.
It was done very well.
That was probably the darkest scene I've seen since Civil War. Man. Civil War's dark scene.
He killed my mom.
Civil War when the Winter Soldier fucking beat Tony Stark's parents the fuck up, dude. But yeah,
dude, it's a weirdly brutal scene that is not handled brutally.
It was supposed to be a brutal scene, yeah.
He punches Howard Stark 5 times in the face with his metal arm.
It's because the motion of him punching seems like he's really just laying in, but he does it multiple times, and then Howard Stark comes out and he's he's still talking and stuff.
It's like in Mortal Kombat where it's finished up. He's just
yeah. But either way, this scene was really done really well, but it was also really dark, and that's different from the other movies.
I love dark scenes being handled in Spider-Man.
Yeah. Woo. Okay. But the dark scenes don't just end there either. Because next we get cut to this scene, which is probably the scene that everyone remembers, where MJ and Ned are just chilling in Ned's apartment.
I thought you were gonna say where Peter Parker is standing on top of the building and it's in the neon lights as the rain is falling down, and J. Jonah is giving a cover of what happened.
I forgot that J. Jonah Jameson is just at that apartment building. He's at the apartment
Here's
building.
The thing. I forgot he was in the movie.
I know he was in the movie.
He plays he's so little to the plot.
Not a lot of stuff happening with J. Jonah Jameson.
That's actually one of my cons, is that it says J. Jonah Jameson also meant nothing to this movie.
That is true.
He was there, and then he was gone.
He was there as just a person.
He was the Flash Thompson of this movie.
As a person who represented everyone who thought Spider-Man killed Mysterio. That was it.
Here's what it is. He was there for a couple of plot points. To have the DODC arrive there, to force Peter to leave, and then to just be the driving force of the hate to Peter. He meant nothing else.
Hate Peter mob. The Penis Parker mob, if you will. So the scene, Ned and MJ are just chilling, and they've got the box, and she's debating on pressing it, but he's like, "Oh wait, why don't And then like Ned just spontaneously gets like these magic powers. Because they did hint at it. They did hint at it at the beginning, where it's like, yeah, my family's like really spiritual, and they say a bunch. We can do magic and shit.
This entire movie, me and my brother were just like, I can't wait for Ned to turn into the Hobgoblin. So every time Ned did anything, we'd both just go like to each other while in the theater. Like we wouldn't say anything. We just like we'd hit each other in the arm, then we'd just go. Ned, it is so crazy down there.
Yeah, Ned like he's just like flailing his arms like, I wish I could see Peter, and then like a freaking portal spark little thing appears, and he's like, wait a minute, do that again, and he's like actually doing like the magic circle, and it opens up this portal, and we get to see like Spider-Man.
Peter Parker.
Yeah, we see Peter Parker Spider-Man, and he's in the alleyway, and he's kind of far away. And like my audience,
his eyes are kind of big.
My audience was like pretty. I think they were like pretty loud during this part.
Yeah. When did they start to get loud? Like at what point when he was running towards them?
It was pretty quiet when the circles first showed up, and you can see him at the end of the alleyway, and he turns around, and then I heard some people like gasp. But then like as then like a little bit of stuff passes, and then he starts running toward the circle. And he jumps through that circle, and he like lands there, and you can see like full well, this is not Tom Holland Spider-Man. And everyone's like, no. I heard someone in the background be like, no way. like there's a lot of people who are like generally surprised that other Spider-Man show up in this movie. So which was good to know.
This is the part where I thought the green screening was horrible.
Really?
Yes, because the moment he pulls the mask off, that's actually him, because they use a CG body double for the run-up part for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then it cuts to a green screen, and I'm just like, why does it not look like it went through a final pass to color grade it, to like shade it properly?
I didn't really notice it too much.
It looked
maybe because I was too caught up in the moment.
To me, it was like the Aquaman scene in the Joss Whedon's Justice League, where he's sitting in the water, and it's like he's clearly like on a green screen background.
Yeah.
It looked like that to me.
Oh. Well,
like,
yeah,
I didn't think... Well, here's the thing. I didn't think it took away from the scene. I thought it was very good. I was just like, what's wrong
I guess if they messed up with the green screen, probably should have put more time into it.
What's going on here?
Something's off. But yeah, so it's the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And he jumps through the portal and he lands there. And at first, I guess people who don't know that Spider-Man was going to show, other Spider-Man were going to show up in this movie, they're probably like, oh, it's just like a body double. It's not actually Garfield. They're just not going to take off the mask. But then like very quickly, he just like rips his mask off like really fast, and it's Andrew Garfield. And everyone starts like applauding and like cheering and stuff. Like they go crazy.
They're applauding?
Yeah. They're like, whoa, yeah. Wow. Yeah, so... I was surprised because I thought people didn't like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. But it was that people don't like the Spider-Man movies, but I think they were okay with Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
No, they don't like him because this is literally their words. They don't like him because he's too good looking.
He's a handsome guy.
He's a handsome guy.
And he's not quite super nerd in his own movies, but that's okay. Right. At least in my eyes.
At least he's still a photographer.
Yeah. I know that Andrew Garfield really likes playing Spider-Man, so
he loves it.
Wasn't he like a dreamer or something? He's like, I love Spider-Man. I want to play it.
he literally been a Spider-Man since he was a kid, and then like his first introduction was going to Comic-Con dressed as Spider-Man, and having them announce him being Spider-Man while in costume, like doing a questionnaire to the director, and he's like, oh, by the way, who's going to be playing Spider-Man? Oh, it's Andrew Garfield. I can't wait to play Spider-Man. It's been my dream since I was a kid. I love Spider-Man, and it was a really great moment. And it's like I feel so bad. This
and it's good because he gets to play Spider-Man again in this movie. You could tell that he really loved being in this movie, like the way he acted.
Guys, I love you guys.
I love you. Like he says it to other Spider-Men. But yeah, so Andrew Garfield shows up, and they just have like this banter between MJ, Ned, and Andrew Garfield for a little bit. It was pretty funny. He's like, are you actually Spider-Man? Stop throwing bread at me.
He's just like,
it's me, Peter Parker. To stop throwing bread at me. Prove that you're Spider-Man. And then like he just jumps up and sticks to the ceiling with his one arm.
You can so tell that Andrew Garfield is also a theater actor, which he is, because
he's a very good actor.
Really expressive with his body, which is great for Spider-Man. But
very
even
good
in
actor.
The mask is like, I'm Peter Parker, but not this world's Peter Parker, I guess. It's just like I love it.
I like how in this moment, I'm guessing these two Peter Parkers have been in the world for like maybe like a couple days.
Yeah,
or
I'd say
whenever the spell broke, so they like
a day and a half. I'd say
like a day and a half. So they're just like stuck in this like alternate world for a day and a half, and they're like, "What the fuck's happening?"
Imagine it's like in Across the Spider-Verse where they show up and they're like, "I've only been here a very short amount of time, and I have no clue what's going on. Like I've just been walking around trying to figure out what's going on and everything."
Yeah. So yeah, he just like he has his hand stuck to the ceiling. He's like, "No, that's not enough. You got to crawl around." It's like, me sticking to the ceiling with one hand is not enough to show I'm Spider-Man. I'm not going to crawl around. And then the freaking Ned's aunt or grandma or whatever was like, "Can you go clean the cupboard?" He's like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And he crawls on the ceiling. That's funny. And then like Ned's like, "All right, well, let's just try it again." And they make like another portal, and then like Tobey Maguire shows up and he just steps through the portal like completely normally. Another round of applause. Another round of applause from the audience. And then Ned's like, "Oh dude, it's just some old dude." Like they don't know it's Peter Parker. So it's funny because he shows up in completely casual clothes too. Totally casual clothes.
He has not lost his uncharismatic just charm from the Raimi movies. He's just like he's got
this like weird like nerd, like this nerd awkwardness to him when he steps through the portal. He's like stepping through the portal and he's like, "Oh, sorry, you didn't want me," and he like turns around to leave, but the portal closes.
Oh, that's gone. That was also him in that moment. Tobey Maguire was the only other time I was like, bad green screen. Them coming through the portals was the only time I had that thought.
Oh, okay.
The rest of the time I was like, this looks great.
So just that one part, just bad green screen?
Yeah, bad green screen and a bad CG double for when Andrew Garfield runs up. Because it's like, in the distance, when it's in the dark, I'm like, that looks great. But then when it gets closer, I'm like, that's not an actual person.
Like freaking Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in the same room playing Spider-Man, Peter Parker.
Yes.
That was pretty crazy. So they see each other. No, they see each other and they're like, wait, they're like, what the fuck? And then they start shooting webs at each other.
It's like in Spider-Verse where their spider senses both go off and they're like, Spider-Man. It's like a stunt show. They're doing flips, they're shooting webs. They're just
they just like look at each other and then they both do a flip and shoot webs at each other. But then Tobey shoots another web and I guess he wins that encounter because he's like the older Spider-Man.
I think
because Andrew Garfield gets webbed on his arm and he's like, "Oh, wow." And then they just both like chill out then.
Yeah, and then Grandma's like, "Can you guys just clean this up? I'm going to bed."
Clean all this up. I'm going to bed. Yeah.
They're so apologetic. They're like, "Oh, we're sorry. Here."
Yeah.
What's going on?
There's an emotional roller coaster in this movie, dude. Because that Aunt May scene was like a really low, and then like the appearance of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield is like a really high, and then like the scene directly after that is like another really low, where like it's like Tom Holland's on the school's roof, and it's raining and he's like all bloody. He's still all bloody and shit from getting beat up, and he's like,
it's sad.
He's like grieving for Aunt May, and then like the two Spider-Man show up and they like try to console him.
Yeah.
And I think this is where we figure out where they are, where they came from in their respective universes. So Andrew Garfield got pulled a long time after Gwen Stacy dies. So he's like
here's the thing. Mm-hmm. I feel like despite the fact that they've aged and that they are past the point of where their movies ended, their stories didn't exactly move on from there, really.
I think it was a decision that they made because they just wanted to put more fan service in there, or maybe
I feel like
make it more relatable to the viewers. But
I feel like they could have used the extended knowledge that was going to come from the sequels that never got made. the Amazing Spider-Man 3.
There was an opportunity there that they didn't go for. Yeah.
I feel like they could have used the info that it was going to be that that Tobey Maguire, he fought Vulture and he faced that villain, and that was like a very emotional fight for him in Spider-Man 4. If you ever look at the script or at the storyboards for that fight scene, there was a very big reason that it's like one of the most important fights that never happened. In the Amazing Spider-Man 3, it was going to be that his father is alive, he's come back, and it's like there was going to be a whole clone crisis and stuff. I feel like you could have gone with all that story that was
that could have theoretically happened and like could have shown a little bit, but yeah.
I mean, they even filmed some of it at the end of the Amazing Spider-Man 2. His father literally shows up at the cemetery and is like, tells him that with great power comes great responsibility line. I'm like, he could have been like, our dad told me that.
Yeah, I guess he could have. Yeah, I guess he could have been done that.
Life, it's complicated.
Yeah. So basically, okay. So back to the scene. Andrew Garfield's in a place where it's like.
That's my con of it.
It's like Gwen Stacy's died already, and he's like, angry. He's like still upset about it, like really angry about it. And then he says he stopped pulling his punches. So I'm guessing he's like killed people.
So people have theorized that he killed Green Goblin, Harry Osborn.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if he's beaten Green Goblin at the end of this Spider-Man 2. I don't remember it too well.
The end of Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's just him fighting Rhino, and that's all that happens. But people are like,
did Green Goblin just escape or something after he killed Gwen Stacy?
Well, because in the credit scene for Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's like he's building the Sinister Six, and he's healing.
That's right.
We have to build a team, and it's like, oh, I've already got one picked out to start us off, and it's the Rhino and everything. And I feel like from there, because they form a team, it ramps up, and he kills Green Goblin to set an example, and it's like
that might have happened, I guess. Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, but Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man's more like a violent one, so one that's kind of angry.
That he shouldn't have.
Yeah, and he's also pretty fucked up because his girlfriend died. So
yeah. I'm sure this is controversial. I think he might have suffered the worst, if not second, to Tom Holland.
It's interesting to see that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is like the one that's. I think he's the one that fought the most, but also lost a lot. Or he's lost the most too, I think, out of all the Spider-Man. At least at the end of this movie.
Yeah, I feel like it's close to saying that he lost the most, but in that moment, I feel like it's like they're basically neck and neck for who's like.
They're all pretty neck and neck. Honestly, but
I don't know about Tobey Maguire.
I mean, Tobey Maguire, he had a lot of stuff die to him.
James Franco.
Yeah.
He didn't lose much.
You lost James Franco. That's a pretty big loss to me. Did you see James Franco turn around and wink? That was one of my favorite. Anyway, though, so yeah, and then Tobey Maguire, I guess he's like, they're both the same age, I guess, respectively in their universes. So this Spider-Man is like super old.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is younger than Tobey Maguire. They're like, yeah, I'm 39. Tobey Maguire, you're in your 40s.
But yeah, Tobey Maguire, they all just like give their own backstories of what happened or how to, or like their deaths and stuff. It's a pretty sad scene, but it's also pretty good. It's a pretty good scene. I like that scene. I really and like Tom Holland's like literally like, I want to kill this guy, like Green Goblin. I'm gonna kill him. It's pretty gruesome, but they get through it. Yeah, I really like that scene. I thought it was pretty cool. And then
I liked it.
Yeah,
especially when they all like repeated the "with great power comes great responsibility" line.
Yeah. And then they're like, okay, let's figure out how to get this done. And then they could go to the lab and they start doing their nerd shit that Peter Parker does. Like all three of the Peter Parkers are freaking nerds. And then they just go and start doing nerd shit, like making cures for the villains or whatever. Yeah, and then the banter in the lab scene is hilarious.
I love it.
Like, man, it's funny because like there's a couple jokes in there that are really good. Like the best friend joke where Ned is like talking to Tobey Maguire. And he's like, did you have a best friend too? He's like, I did have one. Have? Yeah, he died in my arms after trying to kill me. It was heartbreaking. And Ned is just like traumatized after that, like avoiding Tom Holland.
I love when then like he confronts Tom Holland. He's like, and I promise you, I will never become a
I will never try to kill you.
On the shoulder, and they both nod their head to him.
I would never try to kill you.
He's like, what are you guys telling him?
Yeah. And then they had like a really sad part too, where Andrew Garfield's like looking at MJ and Tom Holland like together, and he's like just sad, and Tobey Maguire's talking to Andrew Garfield like, yeah, you'll get through it probably. I mean, it'll work out. It worked out for me.
I beat my girlfriend in Spider-Man 3 and we're married.
I guess they implied that MJ and Tobey Maguire is still good, so
ish. They're like, we're rocky.
Yeah.
I love this. The fucking they're just like, Peter, yeah.
All three of them.
My Peter.
Peter Parker?
Yeah.
That's we're all Peter Parker. Yeah. The one by the computer. Come here. I feel like that joke was coming at some point, but it's still funny. Yeah. Another joke, dude. They have so many jokes in this scene, but they're all like hilarious. Like the organic web shooters that Tobey Maguire has is yes,
it was
they addressed it, and it's a joke.
Oh, what's that?
Web fluid. What?
Oh yeah,
web fluid. What do you mean? It's like, web fluid, and he's like, and you know what? Funny. You know what? I love the attention to detail here, because the sounds that all the Spider-Men make when they shoot their web is the same as their respective movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when Tobey Maguire shoots his web, it's the sound from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies shooting webs, and Andrew Garfield has his sound of the web shooter.
I'm so glad.
And Tom Holland has their own web shooter sound too. So it's like the Sam Raimi one's like the, you know, so it's like the really like squelchy one. Yeah, it's got a heft to it. But he shoots out the web and they're like, whoa, what the hell? Did that just come out of you?
Are you gonna suit, or are you gonna go dressed in the battle like a youth pastor?
Like a youth pastor. I don't really get that. What is that joke from? Is it because Tobey Maguire was like a youth pastor at one point or something?
He looks like one, and that's going from somebody who went to a youth group for like years. He looks like a youth pastor.
He looks like a youth pastor? Oh. I thought maybe it was like a jab at like his role.
Bomber jacket.
Oh, I thought it was like his jab at his role in like Tropic Thunder or something, where he was like a priest or something. I don't know.
No, it's because he looks like one.
Okay. Yeah, and he's like, "Do you got your suit?" And then Tobey Maguire's like, "Yeah, I got my suit." And he like pulls it over his shirt. I guess they're just always ready.
Yeah.
They just always got their suit on.
There's some major sweat stains on those suits, I'm betting you.
Major trauma stains on those suits.
Oh man, I love my favorite banter comes from the moment that they're all on the Statue of Liberty together.
Yeah, so after this they get to the final fight, which is at the Statue of Liberty. Like Tom Holland's on his phone, like FaceTiming J. Jonah Jameson. He's like, "Yeah, I'm here, boy, at the Statue of Liberty, but you know what I like more than knowledge? Materialistic things." So yeah, they call all the villains there, I guess, to just fight them. It kind of reminds me of like the Spider-Man 3 when Venom was like calling Spider-Man to go fight him at the construction site. It felt similar to that, because it's like the Statue of Liberty is also under construction in this universe. So that felt similar to me. But yeah, they all get together, and before the actual like the villains get there, they just have like another banter session. And it's hilarious too.
It's so good.
A lot of callbacks there too.
Because it starts with like Andrew Garfield being like, "Oh, you should have seen Max before he became a criminal. He was just like the sweetest guy."
Yeah, just, great guy. I never thought he would become a freaking evil dude like that. But yeah, no, and then they're like stretching, getting ready for their fight or whatever. And then Tobey was like, "Oh, just my back." Andrew Garfield's like, "You mind if I crack it? Can I crack it for you?" He's like, yeah. Hilarious, dude.
Which, it's a joke on Tobey Maguire, right?
What do you mean? Because Tobey Maguire has a bad back or something?
Yeah, he hurt his back doing one of the stunts for the first Spider-Man movie.
Oh, I see.
So they were going to replace him with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Is that why they had that joke in Spider-Man 2?
That's why they have the joke in Spider-Man 2, because
where he's like, "Oh, my back. My back." Oh, just have a bad back.
You want me to crack him for you? Tobey Maguire's just,
And then like they like hug each other, like and they try to crack. Like what the heck? They could have cut all this out, but I wish they didn't, and they didn't. So it's so funny.
I love Andrew Garfield just like.
Because Andrew Garfield's like the tallest out of them, so it's funny too because Tobey Maguire's like really short compared to him. Yeah. Yeah, and then they like talking about the villains that they fight. They're like, because Tom Holland's like, what are the coolest villains you guys fought? And then Tobey Maguire's like, yeah, I fought an alien from space once.
Well,
like,
first it starts out with them asking about his web shooters.
Does it? Oh yeah, they're like, yeah. So like, I can't get over that organic web shooter thing. And he's like, oh, it's just something. It's like, wait, so you like, it's crazy because you never get web block then, right? And he's like, you what? Now that you mention it, I did have a web block.
You know what? That does sound like a hassle, but as you mentioned it, I was like thinking like, oh my god, I did.
Yeah, oh my god, I did have a web block. And then Andrew Garfield's like, oh my god, why?
It's very Sam Raimi with the dialogue.
Existential crisis type things. Like, oh yeah, I know all about that.
That's so good.
It was really good banter.
Dude, it's my favorite scene. It's just the banter. It's
not even and then like my favorite line of the movie comes from when they were talking about their villains. And they're like, well, who'd you fight? And then he's like, oh, I found an alien from space. And he's like, oh, dude, I found an alien from space too, in space. He was a big purple guy. And then the Andrew Garfield's like, oh, you guys are so cool. I only fought like a dude in a rhino suit and like
McGuire's like
some other dude.
I want to circle back real quick. Like, I can't get over the fact that you went to space.
Yeah. He was like, I still can't go over the fact that you were in space.
Andrew Garfield's like, man, I'm so lame.
I'm so lame. Like, whoa. This is my favorite part. He's like, you're not lame. You're amazing. You're Spider-Man.
You're amazing.
You're amazing. He's like, thanks, guys. I don't know. It's like, no, say it. You gotta say it. You're amazing.
No. I need to hear that.
Heads up, guys.
God, their banter is so great. I really hope they return.
Oh man, they make another like multiverse Spider-Man movie.
They're making Spider-Verse too. I kind of hope they show up in it.
If they make like an animated Spider-Verse 2, and then like they just like show up like in real life, but in the animated world, that'd be hilarious.
Great. But they don't acknowledge that it's weird
big
looking.
Third act fight happens like in every other Marvel movie. This one is pretty good because there's all three Spider-Men.
And you get a little banter bit where they're being attacked by all the villains and like they're hitting each other with their webs and stuff.
Yeah, at first they're like not doing too great because they kind of suck at team play. Because Spider-Man's kind of a solo dude, so yeah.
And they will meet up with each other, and Andrew Garfield's like, "I keep calling you Peter 2, Peter 2," and he's like, "I thought you were Peter 2," and it's like, and it cuts.
Like, we gotta focus up, guys. Trust your tingle. I'm Peter 1. Peter 2, and then Andrew Garfield's like, all right, Peter 3. Peter 3. I think Andrew Garfield has like the funniest Spider-Man. I think he's the funniest Spider-Man.
He's so good.
That acting where he's like Peter 3 because he's clearly doesn't like being number 3, but
I don't mean to brag, guys, but I'm gonna brag. I was an Avenger.
Oh my god! That's so cool. What is that?
You guys have Avengers in your world? What? No. Were you in a band? Oh my god.
Sounds like a band.
No, the Avengers, they're a group of the Earth's mighty. Just help! Him just yelling was great.
Yeah, and then like after they get their shit together and they start coordinating, they do like this like coordinated web swing move that looks really cool.
I loved it.
That was really cool.
Oh man, it was so good.
Oh, yeah, and they're all like getting attacked by like, I guess they're like their own universe's villains, except for Tom Holland, because all of them are like other universes. But Tobey Maguire's fighting like Sandman inside the head, and he's like getting like trapped in there, and he's like, I need the cure for the thing, and he gets like pulled in. And he's like, yeah, I got you, and then start like throwing the cures around and stuff. It was a really cool scene, not gonna lie.
I love the cool visuals of the cures, because the cures very much so match their universe and like how elaborate
they all look like. Yeah, they all look like they would belong in their universes. Yeah.
The lizard one was literally just like a hydro.
It was like the blue. It was like the blue serum thing, the same thing from the this movie.
It was literally a hydro flask with like a blowtorch end to it that would just like release it, but then he just broke it by biting into it anyways.
Yeah.
And then it was just so like MacGyver together. It's like, this is very Amazing Spider-Man, and then it's like with the
great Sandman
one, it's literally a replication of the thing that created him.
Yeah, great.
The collider thing. It's literally
it's like a miniature collider that was just like gets to reverse the effects. This was when I noticed the green screen effects, because the Sandman, when he turns back into regular Flint, it was
composition from the original movie.
Yeah, it was from the movie when Sandman was like, when I clearly remember it from the scene where Black Suit Spider-Man opens up the water tube and it blasts Sandman.
Where he falls in the puddle and then
he starts like turning into mud. It's that exact same thing
played in reverse.
Yeah, and it's
they pulled the Justice League.
Yeah, they used that shot. To be honest, it looks. If I didn't watch that movie and I just saw this, I was like, it might seem a little bit weird to me the way he acted, right? But it looks good. It looks really good.
It fucked me up because I'm like, something's familiar about this.
Yeah.
Why doesn't
I remember that like right there?
Oh, because they had to cover up the mud CGI with sand CGI. That's why his hand looks weird.
Yeah, but yeah, and also what's really funny is that it's really interesting is that they play their respective Spider-Man themes from their movies whenever they're on screen doing the emotional stuff. So Tobey Maguire has his like classic Sam Raimi Spider-Man theme, where it's like da 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 da. But I don't remember Andrew Garfield's one actually.
Is this? I think it's called Young Peter.
Was it?
Yeah.
I only remember the first one because it was super iconic. But yeah, they all have their own Spider-Man themes. What I wish they did was I wish they put in a scene for each one of their spider senses, like how differently they portrayed it. Because I wanted to see Tobey Maguire be like,
because they have different audio cues.
Yeah, I wanted to see Tobey Maguire like with his face, like he's like smiling or something, but then like he goes into his like spider sense face, where he's like alert and his eyes widen, and he goes, and then like it zooms in on his face.
Where a shot, it just made me think I'm about to watch their head get blown up or something. I'm about to watch The Boys.
I really wanted to see that scene where it's like his spider sense is like everything goes in slow motion and like starts zooming around the scene. And then like
there's a fly and a spitball.
There's a fly and a spitball.
A paper airplane.
Flash Thompson's fist right there on the Statue of Liberty.
Shooting a spitball.
Would it be really funny that instead of like the sixth villain in the Sinister Six, because there are only 5 villains in this movie, but the sixth villain is Flash Thompson from like Joe Mag and Yellow, and he like shows up on the Statue of Liberty and he's like gonna punch Tobey Maguire in the back of his head.
Fully grown man, de-aged, but even bigger muscles.
Flash? Yeah, I wouldn't want to fight me neither. Whenever the DVD version of that comes out, I'm gonna grab like that scene and just like visual effects, add in Flash Thompson in there,
and then like add in the scene of Peter Parker screaming, where it's like, no, and it's just
yeah. It's also added attention because MJ and Ned are in that fight scene too. Although
the lizard enters the portal that they
they have a little amazing Spider-Man lizard fight inside their lab, inside the lab.
I like the callback.
Yeah, and it was Tom Holland doing it this time. Tom Holland's the one that was fighting him. Very cool.
And then MJ gets knocked off.
No, what happens first is they bring back Doctor Strange, like Ned and MJ. They pull it back.
Doc Ock shows back up and just grabs Electro.
Yeah, that does happen. So Electro shows up, and apparently Electro is like the strongest out of all of them right now because he's got the arc reactor. Yeah, so he has the arc reactor like on him. They all show up in like new suits except for Sandman, but they all show up and Lizard. Like Electro's got a new suit.
Trench coat.
Electro's got a new suit. Doc Ock actually has like the same, but Electro still has a new suit. He's got the arc reactor, and he's like actually fucking up all the Spider-Men, like all 3 of them. And then the Doc Ock shows up, pretends he's like a bad guy. So he shows up, he like grabs the Spider-Man as they're getting electrocuted, and Jamie Foxx is like, "I don't need your help," and he's like, "You're right." And so like Doc Ock grabs Electro, and grabs the arc reactor off Electro, and he grabs the little cure for Electro and just like swaps them really quickly. Yeah, shuts down Electro right there. And then it's pretty interesting to see good Doc Ock fighting on the side of Spider-Men. Right,
that's what I really enjoyed seeing too.
That was cool. Because he also helps out a little bit more later too. But Doctor Strange shows up, like Ned zaps him back in. And then he sees that like all the dudes are getting cured, and he's like, well, I'll be damned. And then everything seems to be good. Like they cure everybody there already.
First, there's like two moments between specific villains and heroes where Doc Ock and Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire, have a conversation.
Yeah, like they see each other, I guess. But it's like two different, it's from the same universe, but from two different times. Weird.
Right.
Weird.
I liked it though. It was like Doc Ock, who was just
my boy.
Until like he.
I wish he said the line was like, Peter Parker, brilliant but lazy.
Well, he kind of did.
Yeah, he kind of did say that.
They finished that line without saying that part where he's like, "I'm trying to do better."
Yeah.
And I love.
How are you, my boy? I'm trying to do better.
He was so kind to him. He's like, "You're older than I am, but
you're all grown up."
You're all grown up. Just trying to do better.
Super wholesome moment there. Yeah.
Oh, Andrew Garfield and Electro. He's like, Max.
And then they almost have the spider sense scene with Tobey Maguire when the Goblin shows up. Like Goblin's like, can the spider come out to play? And then like it's Tobey Maguire like turning around, looking horrified. And then like Goblin shows up in his new outfit, which is the raggedy
which
thing.
Was the outfit he left in just now with steampunk goggles.
Yeah, and he's got like goggles now, stuff. So he comes in flying on his glider, blows up the place, but he takes the box. But then Doc Ock like grabs his glider and stuff, and then gets his gets his mechanical arm cut off. And then they take the box back, or like Doctor Strange gets the box, but he left a pumpkin bomb in the box, and all the Spider-Man like, oh shit, and then it blows up, and then the scaffolding like collapses, and the shield from the Statue of Liberty like falls down, and then MJ gets knocked off the scaffolding. And Ned kind of gets knocked off too, but he's like dangling off the pole, so I guess he's fine. But MJ falls, and then Tom Holland does like the classic Spider-Man move where someone's falling off a really tall structure and he has to go dive down and save him. But then right before Tom Holland reaches MJ, he gets tackled from the side by the Goblin from the glider. So MJ's like still falling, and then Andrew Garfield gets his like another redeeming moment where he dies off the scaffolding.
And this time, rather than focusing on trying to web her to catch her, he focuses on propelling himself forward to then grab her.
So he's falling down. He's like, and he pushes aside all the freaking debris in the way, and he grabs her, and then he saves her both, or he saves her, and then he lands. It all happens really fast, but it was the moment after he saves her. Yeah, it's the moment after he saves her where he's like, he has like this weird like facial expression on him where he's happy that he saved her, but also like he's remembering that, you know, he didn't save the other one, but it's like a redemption kind of happy grief kind of moment.
You know that his Spider-Man was torturing himself like with, okay, here's exactly what you could have done to save Gwen.
It was like a super emotional moment, both sad and also kind of funny because they added in a joke there where it was like, you okay? And then MJ's like, yeah, I'm fine. Are you okay? And Andrew Garfield's like sort of crying-ish, and he's like nodding his head. But it hit the feels there, man. That hit me in the feels. That was really good, very good. And then that wasn't even like the final battle. No, we get another fight, and this one was a more
emotional battle.
We get an emotional battle because the fight choreography for this one is not very good. Like the fight choreography in this final battle is not very good, but it's mostly emotional.
It was quite good.
It was like a bunch of shaky cam, like these like super fast cutting shots, because I think it was like the actual actors just like duking it out, and it probably looked really bad. So I didn't really care too much about it. But so Tom Holland fights Green Goblin like on the shield that fell down, and then he wins. Tom Holland wins. And like he beats up Green Goblin.
Don't talk about everything that happened.
Well, I mean, it's just a little fight that happens. They have like a little bit of dialogue in there where he's like taunting him about Aunt May's death.
he then suplexes Green Goblin like he got suplexed.
Yeah, there's some moves in there that are interesting, but most of it was just like I think most of it was just like the shaky cam fights, and then like Green Goblin pulls out, he has like the little saber that comes out of his suit, little knife, and he starts swinging it around, and
it gets kicked out of his hand.
I don't think so.
You hear the clatter of it getting kicked out of his hand.
Maybe I just don't remember. I don't remember that part, but so he gets him down,
the glider,
and then Tom Holland's like super angry, so he picks up the glider and he's like gonna stab Goblin with it because the pointy ends on the glider, so he's gonna like use it to spear this Norman Osborn. But then Tobey Maguire comes out and he like stops the glider, and I'm guessing that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is the strongest Spider-Man out of all of them, in quotations, because he's the oldest one, because he stops the glider pretty easily. Because like I'm pretty sure that like Tom Holland's Spider-Man was like really actively trying to kill this Green Goblin, and then like he's stopping the glider.
I'd say yes for now because he did stop the train.
That was a pretty impressive feat. So yeah, he grabs the glider, he stops him from killing Goblin, and it was like Andrew Garfield gets his moment with MJ, and this is like Tobey Maguire's moment, I guess, where he's like redeeming. He's like preventing this Spider-Man from committing murder. Directly committing murder. It wasn't the drones that killed. It wasn't him that killed Mysterio. It was the drones.
He did kill that mugger. Let's be fair. He did straight up kill the mugger.
Which mugger?
Flint Marco's partner from the first movie.
Oh, I was talking about Tom Holland. He's preventing Tom Holland from killing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is a killer too, and he's like, I was a very dark person when I did that.
Yeah, I guess he's just trying to stop him from killing any more then, I guess. But yeah, anyway, he stops him from killing Goblin. Just kind of his moment. Then they have like this weird like fake out scene where Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man gets stabbed by Goblin with the
back.
Yeah, in the back with the little saber knife thing that he has in his suit, which is why I didn't think he like lost. He got like kicked away or something.
Well, I was thinking that he has a second one because I could have sworn that you hear him activate it and then stab him. I'll have to rewatch to find out. But
yeah, he gets stabbed and then like he falls down like he's dying, or they shoot it like he's dying, and then
then Andrew Garfield throws the
throws him the cure. They cure Goblin, and then they all gather around Tobey Maguire, and he's like yeah, I'm fine. Got stabbed before. Which now I think about it, he's been fucked up a lot.
Yeah, he's gotten beat up a lot.
He's gotten fucked up a lot. But yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
So it's cool. But not only is it the movie's not over yet.
Doctor Strange has been containing a multiversal.
So when the Goblin bomb blew up the box, it made the spell go out of control, and then Doctor Strange is trying to keep the spell under control. But I'm guessing I didn't really notice too much in this part, but apparently all of the astral figures that were trying to go through the cracks were like Spider-Man enemies or something. I only noticed the Rhino. That was the only thing I noticed.
There was Rhino, there was Kraven, there is supposedly the Jackal and Madam Web, who are a bit more obscure characters.
I think my father said he saw the Scorpion as well. Scorpion.
Yeah, the Scorpion's there. There's some like kind of fudgy
probably some other stuff. I might have to rewatch it in order to see really what's in there, but yeah, all that's happening, and then I guess Peter's solution to fixing it was just to wipe out everyone's memory of Peter Parker,
because then that would stop a lot of events.
Yeah, and then that would stop all the people who know about Peter Parker like blending into their universe.
What? Stop Aunt May from dying.
So yeah, he decides that that's the option. So he goes just full like nuclear mode. Even Stephen Strange, it wipes everyone's memory of Peter Parker, and at that moment, this Peter Parker, like this in-universe Peter Parker, loses like literally everything. Like he doesn't have any. His Uncle Ben's not there. His Aunt May died. No girlfriend anymore. and he's living in that one room
Tobey
apartment.
Maguire and Andrew Garfield both did the peace sign to each other before.
Yeah, they I thought they did that freaking meme where it's like peace out. And they like
did.
do with a piece and then fade out. Wow. Yeah, they all fade out. And it's all good, I guess. Happily ever after. They have like this really sad goodbye moment with MJ and Ned. But yeah,
I like that in the new reality. Because Peter Parker didn't exist, MJ and Ned are more like shown as being like acquaintances than friends.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they were only really close friends because through Peter Parker. Yeah, they were acquaintances. But yeah, so Peter Parker shows back up. Actually, he makes a promise to them before they wipe their memory of him, where he's like, "Yeah, I'll come back and find you guys, and we'll all be all good friends together again."
You and everything.
Yeah, so he comes back to the donut shop where they all started, and then he sees MJ, he sees Ned. MJ and Ned don't really know each other, so like Ned's like, "Oh, you're from MIT too," and she's like,
she's like, "Go engineers," and he's like, "What?" And she's like, "It's the MIT mascot, the engineer." He's like, "Oh, yeah,
yeah," and then they just peace out. He orders a coffee, and he's gonna bring up the fact, or he's gonna try to like reconnect with them, but then he sees
he's like saying, "Hi, I'm Peter Parker. Hi, I'm Peter Parker," all the way there.
Yeah, and then he sees like the bandage on Zendaya's face, I guess, because of she got cut from the battle, and he's like, "Oh, well, I see that they're all happy now. Like they're both in MIT. They're probably gonna live really good lives."
She's still wearing the Black Dahlia necklace he got.
Yeah, that he got at the end of Far From Home. So yeah. So like
specifically the broken version.
Yeah, and he's there. And he's like, you know what? Probably not a good idea to get back in there. So he just makes the decision to not actually associate himself with them anymore for their safety, I guess. So he just pieces out. And that was a pretty interesting decision. I thought they would just go for it, But yeah, I respect that decision. I think it was a good way to go, where they just peace out. I think they might bring him back in the future, but didn't happen here.
So they are doing a Spider-Man 4. Tom Holland has confirmed.
Yeah.
That sorry, we should talk about the post-credit. Venom.
Yeah, let's talk about this movie first. So yeah, and then he shows up to his one-room apartment, and this is like classic Spider-Man, where it's like now he's lost everything. He's gone through his tragedy thing. He's understanding that with great power comes great responsibility.
Rent this apartment.
He's no longer the little boy that gets all the help that he needs whenever he needs it, and now he's like on his own. He's on his own, and he's out there just doing his Spider-Man thing on his own, and he makes his own suit.
Reality, because there's no Peter Parker, Uncle Ben never died.
Weird. Maybe Uncle Ben is still out there. But yeah, so that's where it ends. Then after credit sequence, there's a new suit. His new suit's really shiny, looks cool.
It looks really good. It's very
classic. I want to see a better shot of it than what they show at the end of the movie, but
it's just purely in motion, and there's not a clear shot of it.
Yeah, not a clear shot of it.
But I love it.
Yeah, that's where it ends. Him swinging.
Classic.
Him swinging in the new suit. That's where it ends. The mid-credit sequence. I liked it, even though it didn't make a lot of sense, because there were a lot of things that were kind of weird with it.
It makes sense, but it's also like, this is clearly just them trying to like introduce
It's
Venom.
very clearly it's both fan service and a way to introduce Venom into this universe.
Right, but then I also have to say, it's like, well, you could have just done the more mainstream and just streamlined version where he's an alien who fell from space.
The classic story of Venom, where he's an alien, fell from a meteorite.
It just attached to Peter.
Yeah, but
that's it.
Yeah, so like the purpose of that sequence was to drop Venom off in this universe. That was basically it.
Right.
Which is still kind of weird. And we'll get to it after the movie ends, I guess. But
I have to say, it makes sense why Venom would know who Peter Parker is.
I didn't watch the second Venom movie yet.
I did.
But I know that at the end of it, there's a scene where he explains why he knows who Spider-Man is. So I get that.
He doesn't actually.
Does he? I thought he did.
It doesn't explain why he knew who Spider-Man was before he entered the universe. The whole reason he did.
I thought he did.
No, it's just that he shows up and Venom's like, whoa, this guy, there's something else when he sees him on TV unmasking himself.
Licks him in the TV.
Yeah. And the explanation is that in the comics, all of the Venoms across the multiverse share a knowledge.
No, that's what he says in the movie too. In the second Venom movie. He has a
vast knowledge, but he's like, I don't know what's happening. This isn't me. And it's
no, I'm pretty sure Venom just says it. He's like, oh, all of the symbiotes have like a hive mind that spans across multiverses.
He doesn't say multiverse is the thing.
Or he says universes, I think.
He says something, and it's like
no, I think there's a scene that literally he just says it.
No, he says they share a hive mind of vast knowledge of the universe that would destroy Eddie Brock's brain.
Universes. He
says universes is the thing. Either way, it is the.
I think that's what they were trying to imply with that. At least that was the point of this. Whether or not the words were the same, that was the point.
So
I guess that's why he was. That's why he got pulled into this universe. And I guess in the day and a half, or I guess the 2 days now that he was in this universe, he's just chilling in Mexico or something.
Just getting blackout drunk.
Yeah, he's just getting drunk at a bar. And it's funny because I didn't expect Venom to show up in this movie. Eddie Brock Venom, aka Tom Hardy. Yes. Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock was in this movie in the post-credit sequence. It was funny.
Dude, I'd really like to see Tom Holland Spider-Man with the black suit too, because now that he's got his classic costume, I can just imagine.
I would like him to fight to see him fight freaking Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's Venom.
The powered Tom Holland fight a depowered Tom Hardy.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
He just gets, oh, hello there, Mr.
Oh, it's like that one scene where he gets punched and his like nose breaks, but like, oh, sorry, let me fix that for you. Like his nose gets fixed. Wait, I want that. I want to see that.
Here, let me.
Okay, but that's basically the end of the movie. There's another end credit sequence, but that's just a trailer for Doctor Strange 2, I think.
It's the trailer Doctor Strange 2.
Doesn't really matter in this movie, so.
I mean, it matters if you're gonna see Doctor Strange 2.
It matters if you want to see Doctor Strange. All right, James. Now that we're done talking about the plot of the movie, it only took 2 hours. You got any other stuff that you want to bring up? Things that pros and cons? You have a pros and con list?
It's a very long list and it would take us a while to get through, so I'm just gonna cover a few things.
Sure, just a few things.
I wish their costumes weren't the same as when we last saw them.
You wanted that brand new costumes for the final fight?
I did. I wanted Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. I mean, not Tom Holland.
Did you want them to have different fights with different suits?
Yes, I wish they had done new suits to represent how their lives changed over time.
Yeah.
I wanted, because Andrew Garfield is like, I stopped pulling my punches, which is very close to what the Superior Spider-Man does. I wish he had gotten a suit that was more the black and red and more of that design, and that more represented that character change. And Tobey Maguire, goddammit, Tobey Maguire, his Spider-Man became older and a bit more jaded while still being a bit positive. Yeah. He had gotten the Last Stand suit, which is just a red leather jacket. It's a very simple suit, but it's also very iconic for like what it represents and everything. I'm sending you pictures of them.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But
oh wow, yeah, that's cool. Is that from PS4 Spider-Man?
Yes, that's the PS4 version of it and everything. But that's basically what it looks like. I kind of wish like his Spider-Man, because he'd been there for so long and he gotten so old, he just kind of gotten more like less.
It looks pretty casual.
It is, and that's why I was like,
suit.
And that's why I was like, I really hope they do this because it would make sense. It would be like, Tobey Maguire's like, I've been doing this for years. I don't want to pull on a giant spandex suit every time. I'm just gonna put on a jacket, mask, and gloves and get going. Yeah,
all had pretty good. I really liked the chemistry between all the Spider-Men. They used the same suits from the movies, so yeah.
Yeah,
like, Tobey Maguire had his Sam Raimi suit.
Yeah, by the way, the Sam Raimi suit that they have on display at like Disneyland is hilarious looking because they don't have like the face shell on it. It's just like on a weird like circle headstand, so it's super skin tight with like giant bug eyes. It looks super weird.
I know that the Amazing Spider-Man suit has like really big eyes compared to the other two. It's got huge eyes, which is cool. And also, like, Andrew Garfield's suit is like, it's like sort of wrinkly-ish too. There's like wrinkles on it that have like,
it's supposed to be like flexible.
It's a bit looser, and it shows like whenever he's swinging, I guess it's supposed to show like it's like air's blowing on it and stuff. So
I love it, dude. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they use that suit for this movie too. So
I love that if you've ever seen like a behind-the-scenes picture of like what their suits look like, when they take the lenses off because they have to have them be detachable. Yeah, their eye holes are like this big.
They're not very
on
big.
Their mask. Because like, even if it's a giant like eye, you take it off, it's like they're looking through this the entire time.
Why don't they just cut a bigger eye holes?
I don't know, and that's what I think every time I see like a cosplayer do it. I'm like, why don't you guys just cut bigger eye holes? It's just like you're just looking like this the entire time.
No.
It's like
that's funny.
It's a very cursed image.
I like how Andrew Garfield. So I'm not gonna lie, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man in this
is the best.
Is probably the best one. Yeah, he gets a lot of great lines plus great things that he does, like saving MJ. All the banter of being like the lamest Spider-Man. But also that Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is like the only one that just stays in his suit like the entire time we see him. And I feel like maybe that's because Andrew Garfield just really watches to stay in the suit for as long as possible.
It's like Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
They enjoyed being these characters.
They really like being Spider-Man. So, or I mean, the Spider-Man and Green Goblin.
Peter 3.
Peter 3. that was good acting there. Funny.
But yeah. I got a lot of cons and a lot of pros and everything, and it's like,
is there any like huge cons?
We go through it
with like the plot or something. I know there's some maybe weird plot holes. For me,
Electro was defeated way too easily.
That was a thing that was the thing my father said too. He was like, yeah, Electro should have been a lot stronger because he had the arc reactor on him.
It also bothered me because he was so played up in the marketing, and he was doing all the interviews and like being with the three main cast members of Tom Holland, Zendaya, and Jacob Bercoli, whatever Ned's name
is.
Yeah, I feel bad for not knowing it because I always know it, but he was like doing interviews and like doing like ads and stuff with them, and I'm like, you guys really played him up as the main guy.
Yeah, I mean they did show that he was like super strong at that end fight. Like it took all three of them to. Well, I guess they didn't even work. He defeated all three of them, but it was just like a hand wave. Doc Ock came in and killed him or got him. Not kill him, but
I feel like we should have at least gotten one more Spider-Man in that very final fight.
Oh, wasn't it all three Spider-Man were attacking Electro? Or was it just two?
It was just two, and then Doc Ock showed up and saved them.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Holland was like fighting Lizard or something.
Oh yeah, Tom Holland was trying to save MJ and Ned from Lizard.
Right, and I just remember thinking like, this really feels like it should be the point where another Spider-Man comes in to help him. And I'm like thinking, okay, either
Spider-Man, and then Doc Ock shows up.
Morales, which is the superior Spider-Man, by the way. In the comics, he takes over Peter Parker's body and he calls himself Superior Spider-Man.
Is Miles Morales like a stronger Spider-Man or something?
In ways.
I thought he had like another power or something.
He has Venom Strike and he can turn invisible.
I don't like how they called his powers Venom's based powers. I know. That's weird.
I know. It's...
Could have gone for anything else.
Peter 3.
Peter 4.
I feel like we should have gotten Miles Morales or Gwen Stacy showing up as their respective
Spider-Men's.
As Spider-Man or Spider-Girl, or I guess Spider-Ghost is what she also is called sometimes.
Spider-Ghost, because she looks like a ghost.
I really feel like Emma Stone should have showed up
as Spider-Ghost.
Yeah, and then had that moment between her and Andrew Garfield specifically, where they both recognize each other. Like,
I feel like introducing someone at that point.
In my world.
I feel like introducing someone at that point might have been too like, just in there, too shocking.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's just, I don't
to
know,
me, it made sense that Doc Ock showed up. You know.
Right. I'm not saying it didn't. I just feel like there was room for one more person to show up, and it felt like we were going to get that the entire time, and we just didn't.
Okay.
And my very last con that I want to talk about is the most important of them all.
Yeah.
Japanese Spider-Man should have showed up and said his iconic line. Let me find it real quick. I am an emissary from hell, Spider-Man.
What if instead of Tobey Maguire, we got emissary from hell, Spider-Man?
I need Spider-Man. Dude, it would have been the most... That is the most raw line Spider-Man has ever said. I am an emissary of hell.
That would have been bars, dude. Would have been bars. But yeah.
A pro I have, real quick.
Sure.
Just, I'm going to say one pro, because I feel like it's a very important one. We would have never gotten this movie if Disney wasn't so greedy to try and buy Sony and, like, steal Spider-Man away.
Yeah.
Because this movie was treated as Sony's last Spider-Man movie.
Right.
This was
Isn't their contract like over? Marvel with Sony, or is it?
It was no, I don't think that contract's ever gonna fucking end, is the thing.
I mean, they both make so much money from it. I don't know if they want to get rid of it.
The thing is that I think theirs is like based on like if they haven't used the property in this amount of time, it goes back to Disney.
I see. So that's why they keep making Spider-Man universe stuff like Venom.
That's why movies and books and games and stuff, they keep getting made. It's why Ghostbusters Afterlife got made. It's why all these
Miles Morales got made.
No, I think that one actually was a passion project.
I see.
Because there's a documentary behind it, but the studio that did it, they were amazing.
Yeah.
They were like, we just want to make this great thing that we really liked. But Sony, I don't think Sony's the bad guy, which they keep getting treated like and everything.
Well, I mean, they legally have it. They legally have the rights to it. It's Disney that really wants the piece of that pie.
Despite the
they're
fact
treated like
Disney,
the bad guy because they make the horrible movies.
they get treated like that because they didn't want to give Disney even more money. Which,
yeah,
why do they need it?
They don't. Is the answer there?
They're already making like millions and billions of fucking dollars from this worldwide. Why do you need more money? You're literally getting the highest earnings, which is like all the merchandise and stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait for this multiverse thing to bring in X-Men into this universe, so waiting for that.
Apparently Patrick Stewart was asked to come on to this movie. And
this movie?
As well as Dr. Xavier.
Huh. Interesting. But yeah, I guess that's it for everything then, huh? James, do you have anything else to say before?
I don't have anything to say, no.
Okay. Well, yeah, that concludes our review. Let's give it some points out of 10. For me, I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
I'd say 9
super
out of 10.
enjoyed. I think it might actually be one of my favorite Spider-Man movies, period. Then again, I haven't watched Spider-Verse, like the animated one. But
you haven't?
No, I still haven't watched that.
Okay, we have to watch it together. But I'm gonna give my rankings for all the Spider-Man movies, which won't take long.
Sure.
It's Spider-Verse at the top.
I heard everyone liked that one.
I gotta say it's this one after that, genuinely.
This one after that, huh?
This one after that. Spider-Man 1, Sam Raimi's.
Yeah.
The Amazing Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2.
You like The Amazing Spider-Man more than Spider-Man 2?
Yes, I have a very fond attachment to the Amazing
Andrew
Spider-Man
Garfield
series.
Spider-Man? I see. Okay.
Yes, I greatly enjoy his. And I think people just shit on him no matter what.
Yeah.
I say below that it's then Spider-Man 2, it's The Amazing Spider-Man 2, then Spider-Man 3. Which I feel bad for saying because I don't think The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is that bad of a movie. It's not a great movie.
Yeah.
It's not a great movie.
Okay.
But I don't think it's that bad. And then it's like Spider-Man 3.
A lot of people would disagree with you, but yeah.
But it's intentional trash.
Yeah.
And there aren't any more movies, right?
The
sorry,
Homecoming
Tom
ones?
Holland movies.
Yeah,
okay, hold on.
Tom Holland.
I gotta adjust that list because I forgot. Okay, it's the Homecoming, then Amazing Spider-Man 2, then Far From Home, then Spider-Man 3.
I see. Okay. You really didn't like Far From Home, huh?
I think it's not a very good movie.
I see.
At all.
That's fine.
I don't.
I mean, I might as well rank mine too then. You know?
But
I'm sure you would love to hear mine.
yes,
I rank mine not based on how good of a movie it is, but how much I've enjoyed it. So, at the top of mine from what I've watched in Spider-Man movies, Spider-Man 3. That's probably the one I've watched the most, honestly. When I was a kid, I watched Spider-Man 3 more than I watched any other Spider-Man movie.
As a kid, I fucking loved Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3.
Dumb. It was dumb, and I loved
it.
I
know a lot of people hate Spider-Man 3. I love it, dude. I recognize it's a bad movie.
I had the Venom toy that spit out the actual Venom.
I love Spider-Man 3. That's number one for me, unironically. And then it's No Way Home is right after that one. So this movie. I think it's pretty much just... I think it's a better movie than Spider-Man 3. And if I were to rewatch movies, I'd probably enjoy watching Spider-Man 3 more often than, like, if I had to rewatch a lot of times, I'd rewatch Spider-Man 3 more than I watched No Way Home. So No Way Home is underneath Spider-Man 3. Then I'd rank
3 is an enjoyment that it's not like because it's a good movie. It's like because it's so stupid.
There's so much meme stuff in it. So many memorable moments that I still remember to this day. I just can't forget it. It's number one. And then so Spider-Man 3, No Way Home, and then I'd rank Spider-Man 2. Then I'd rank I'd probably put Homecoming after that, and then Far From Home, then Spider-Man 1 from Sam Raimi, and then the 2 Amazing Spider-Man
You don't
movies.
like Spider-Man 1 from Sam Raimi that much?
I don't remember it that much, actually. I do remember Spider-Man 2 though, and Spider-Man 3, but not Spider-Man 1.
Formula.
That was funny. I only remember like those scenes from it. But yeah, and then the 2 Amazing Spider-Man are going to be at the bottom, with the Amazing Spider-Man above the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Understandable.
Yeah, because I know for a fact that I've watched both the Amazing Spider-Mans, but I don't remember them like at all. I only remember that New Goblin had a horrible costume. That was about it.
I don't think the costume was bad. I just think making the bleach blonde hair and then like that,
which is part of the costume. It was bad. Have you? Never mind. That'll conclude our review. I'm gonna end it here now. So.
If you watched Fire, yes.
All right. Thank you for watching it all the way to the end. If you have watched all the way to the end, it's a long review. I don't even know if I'm gonna cut this. I'm probably just gonna leave it.
It could probably be a whole episode on its own. Honestly.
Of the crap shoot, I would just leave it as an episode of crap shoot. It comes up early instead of on Sunday.
Late into the game.
But yeah, review. That's it. Goodbye. Unless you want to plug yourself in, James.
I am James. You can find me in the links below.
Yes, you can. Bye.